What is up? It is the Fantasy Endgame. I'm Pierre. He's Chris. And we are, by the way, now sponsored by Manscaped. Check down below if you do ever go on manscaped.com, which has a ton of free shipping. You have a ton of great items with free shipping and 20% off if you use promo code Endgame. And I can say personally, now we've tried the products, and it's definitely up to par as far as the promotion goes. But we're here to talk fantasy football. Of course, as always, we're going to answer as many start-sit questions as possible. Just to say up front, guys, we will not get to all of them. It is not possible. We're going to get so many comments that are already coming in before we even go live. We will do our best. If you use the super chat feature, then we will get to those first because that's what it is for. And then even then, we may fall behind. Stick with us. We will not skip your question unless we accidentally skip your question, in which case it's okay for us to put a gentle reminder, but we will try to get to as many as possible. And we do also get to the regular chat questions as much as we can. If we don't get to your question, you don't want to use the super chat or whatever, you can join us on Discord. We have a Discord server that is going on 24/7, 365, and we are always talking fantasy and other things. I mean, it's not just Start Sit. There's so many different channels in there. I don't even remember them all. You can do that. It's absolutely free. The link is down below in the description. Also down below, you'll see a link to the Patreon page. If you want to be a patron, well, you can join us for our Start Sit show tomorrow morning, every Sunday morning before game time for 2 hours. We have one session like this just with our patrons. That's what you get with it, along with weekly rankings and breakdowns and sometimes extra videos throughout the off season, draft season. You get all sorts of things. I think it's worth it, but that's just me personally. Patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame, or just check the link below. All right. So now that is out of the way with, let's talk about week 9. And then we're going to get to the questions. But first, we are going to run down the injuries. It's always a fluid situation, things changing. And a lot of these questions that we get asked, early and midweek, the answer completely is different before game time because we're just finding out some things even today, not just on Friday. Let's start with the big one. And I will just have to say, if you ever happen to watch the week, whatever it was, week 8, I think we did rest of the season running back rankings. I'm changing my mind. Did not know Jonathan Taylor was just going to be hurt, and now he's not even playing. All right, we have confirmation, Chris. He's just completely out this week.
Out this week, week to week, which is usually not good. So I'm guessing he's going to miss at least another week or two. But yeah, definitely out this week.
And as it turns out, they just traded Nyheim Hines, who had technically been the RB2. So hopefully you picked up Deion Jackson. It looks like it could be a big week for him, except not a great matchup. So don't get too carried away. But Jonathan Taylor is out. And then here's the one that we're just hearing about. And there's still some question here because John Harbaugh, he just loves to mess with us, doesn't he? He's like, I'm not going to tell you if my guys are hurt.
Yeah.
But look, Mark Andrews and Gus Edwards, it looks like they're probably not going to play. You should definitely plan to be without them. So there goes a tight end one and a running back that you might have just picked up. I think they're listed as doubtful. Is that what the technical?
Right? Yeah, doubtful. Doubtful almost always means they're not going to play. They didn't practice all week. They're doubtful. They're not playing. They're not playing.
And that's the thing. Missed practice on Friday. Didn't practice at all. Gus Edwards just coming off that ACL, and guess what? Not too different from J.K. Dobbins. What a coincidence that these two guys who just came off major injuries and were thrown in with like 20 touches right away. This didn't work out well.
Yeah, weird.
All right, and then the other team that's probably more decimated by injuries is the Chargers. I mean, you thought things couldn't get worse. Mike Williams out for several weeks. Keenan Allen somehow managed to get worse during the week off. How is that possible? Just how?
Look, for every DeAndre Hopkins who's over 30 and actually performing, there's 50 other 30-year-olds who don't perform. It's just football's a young man's sport. It's a young man's sport. You're taking a real risk when you draft these guys 30 plus. You're taking a real risk.
Yeah, that's a good point. Look, Hopkins only been back for a couple of games, but his is different. He didn't have any injury. He was just suspended. But Yeah, so Keenan Allen is out. Mike Williams is out. And number 2 tight end, Donald Parham, is out. And just for fun, DeAndre Carter, who is going to be a starter, he is questionable because he's just sick. So, we've been telling you all week, Chris had Josh Palmer as a boom. Feel pretty good about that. Gerald Everett probably should be in your starting lineup if you have him. Yeah. Chuba Hubbard, thought he might come back, but he is also out. So you're going to see a ton of Deontay Foreman, but the matchup is not quite as good. So don't get too excited about another 3-touchdown game, but you never know. The Commanders, no Dotson again, and no J.D. McKissick. And then Jets, no Corey Davis. For the Bucks, again, some more guys that are very, very just deep league only options, but you're not going to have Cam Brate, which does mean Cade Otton is going to be the starter again, and no Russell Gage, which means Julio Jones technically still has a pulse. And then Josh Reynolds is out. All right, and then the questionables here, Damian Harris, definitely one to watch. James Robinson was just added to the injury report, so we could see more Michael Carter. Not that you should be interested in any Jets running back against the Bills. I already mentioned DeAndre Carter. Allen Lazard is also questionable. He's been battling that shoulder injury. Darren Waller, perpetually questionable. Yes. Also going to have to watch his status. Speaking of perpetually questionable, DeAndre Swift. I'm not going to lie, Chris. I'm a little worried. All the talk that's been going on. And didn't he himself say something like, I don't know if I'll be 100% all season?
Yeah, but I mean, who's 100% right now? You know who's 100% right now? Deion Jackson, because he's barely played. Or you know what I mean? Like guys who have barely played, they're the only guys that are 100%. I don't know. It's weird how this went from after the game last week, Swift saying yeah, I expect my workload to ramp up, and then all of a sudden it's now it's gone the opposite direction. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna still see more Swift this week, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh man, why did I doubt this?" But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm just gonna say I'm worried. Another guy talk about rest of the season running backs. I mean, I'm worried, but I've said it. I feel a big week from Jamal Williams based on the matchup. James Conner, of course, questionable. And Ryan Tannehill is going to be a game time decision. I mean, I don't think you should really be too interested in Malik Willis either, based on the fact they only let him throw it 8 times. All right. And then thankfully, here's some good news. Cooper Kupp, not going to miss a beat. He is in, didn't have an injury designation at all. So yes, Cooper Kupp. Yes, to Austin Eckler. So expect about 30 catches from him this game. Palmer is out of concussion protocol, so definitely fire up Josh Palmer if you picked him up. And in very good news, returning from IR, Cordarrelle Patterson is going to play, and he's a guy I think you just throw back right in your lineup, especially you need a running back with so many teams on bye this week. I mean, you feel like he just takes that backfield back as his?
Probably, but even if he doesn't, it's the Chargers. As long as he gets 15-ish touches, he should be a more than startable RB2.
And a Chargers offense that's missing their top 2 receivers and a tight end and maybe their 4th receiver. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like his Chargers offense really has been great lately anyway. So, Atlanta, I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to be an upset, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's a closer game than people think. All right, that does it for the injuries. Endgame community, make some noise, and by noise, I mean type in a comment here, and we'll talk about it. All right, let's get to the first chat of notes. Let's start with Deion Jackson question here. Would you throw Deion in over Ramondre in that same game?
No, that's too much. Ramondre has looked great, catching passes. Damian Harris is questionable, but it's an illness, so it's not like he's dealing with an injury. But still, I can't start Deion Jackson over Ramondre. No, it's too much. Too much.
No, I mean the Patriots' run defense hasn't been elite or anything like that, but still, they're fine. They're a team that's not going to give up a ton. I can see Jackson getting several catches. What did Ramondre do last week, which nobody really saw coming? He caught, I think, 7 passes.
Yeah,
and Damian Harris is so questionable. I mean, you got to roll with Ramondre here. I mean, you can't bench him. This one's a little closer. Jamal Williams, who I just talked about, or Cordarrelle, who I also just talked about. I like them both, but who do you go with?
I think you got to go Cordarrelle. everybody's like going crazy about Jamal, and I get it. But Jamal, even in the games without Swift, has never played even half the snaps. Even in the games Swift didn't play, like his role is his role. Like his role is his role. With or without Swift, Swift banged up, Swift not banged up, his role is his role. Like that's it. It doesn't even matter. Like if Swift's out, you just see more Craig Reynolds. Cordero, it's just too good of a matchup for Cordero Patterson. Like the Chargers, just so bad against the run. Like I think you gotta play Cordero.
Yeah, I mean, I did say I like Jamal Williams a lot. That's why I picked him as a boom. Of course, when we filmed that, and this has been out a couple of days, we didn't even know Cordero Patterson was coming back.
Exactly.
So he wasn't under consideration at that time. Look, the Falcons have a really good offensive line. They really have one of the better offensive lines in the league, top 10 for sure. That's why they're able to generate rushing yards with guys like Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley. It's not like, oh, they found all these great running backs. No, offensive line makes a huge difference. So Cordero, I feel good about him. Yeah, I think it's close. But as long as Swift is playing, he's not going to be 100%, but I think he's playing. So I give the edge to Cordero. But let's see how much you like Cordero. Would you put him over Joe Mixon?
I can't.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to do that yet, especially coming off injury. We don't know. Like I said, I think he can do damage with 15-ish touches, but I'm talking like RB2 damage, not like RB1 damage. Mixon has weekly touchdown upside, reception. Like, no, I can't. That's too much. Too much for me.
Yeah, and we do still have Mixon as a must start because even though he's been really not that good, very inefficient with his yards per carry, with the touchdown rate and all these things, he's still a starting running back of the Bengals. He's still getting all the touches. He still has so much touchdown upside. So it's not the best version of Joe Mixon, but even this version of Joe Mixon is still better than most running backs out there. All right, first super chat from Robin Ortman. What is up? Should I start Cordero Patterson or DeAndre Swift?
Now this one is close for me. You got two guys, one coming off IR, one who's played last week and played 55% of the snaps, but now there's worry that maybe he's not 100%. I don't know. Both in good matchups, although Patterson's matchup is better. But the Packers are not good against the run. They're really not. They're not good against the run at all. I mean, this is close. This is actually close. I think I could see this going either way. Honestly, I could see this going either way, but I think I'll give Patterson the slightest of edges only because his matchup is really, really good and Swift's matchup is just really good. And, there is some concern that maybe Swift is limited this week. So I'll give Patterson a slight edge. This is really close for me.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, Patterson's not a guy who's going to necessarily get 20-plus touches, especially coming off injury. But I'm honestly, I keep bumping Swift a little bit down in the rankings because you have to worry because his coach Campbell come out and said, oh, he's getting too much work. And then now he's like, yeah, I'm not 100%. It's like all the red flags are waving. It's like, okay, like I get it's hard to put him on the bench, but if I have a pretty good option, I don't think I can sit him instead of Swift. Is anyone feeling Palmer will get off? Yeah, Chris, you feel pretty good about that. You have him as a boom, but would you pick a safer? I mean, do you think that Jakobi Meyers is a safer bet?
Jakobi Meyers has been way more boom bust this year than people think, and I know this because I have Jakobi Meyers in one league, and I feel like every time I start him, he does nothing, and then I finally say, like, okay, I'm done with him, and then he goes off the week I put him on my bench, and I put him back in my lineup, and he gets like one target or two targets. Like, Myers hasn't been a high floor guy this year. He really hasn't. He's been like 70% of the wide receivers, maybe 80% of the wide receivers. Very boom bust. But I can't bench Palmer for Myers. Like, yes, there's definitely bust potential with Palmer because Palmer is not a very good real life wide receiver. He just isn't. But it's the Falcons. They have Austin Eckler, Gerald Everett, and Josh Palmer are the only guys Justin Herbert has to throw to. It's hard to see a path for him not catching 5+ passes against one of the worst, if not the worst secondary in the league. So I still got to go Palmer.
Yeah, there's two big factors in his favor, and you already talked about them. And of course, if you guys haven't seen the Boom video, go back and watch it. But he's going to be the number one guy, at least as far as receivers. And, Eckler will probably just catch 20 passes, but he's the number one guy. And going against the worst pass defense there is, I mean, it's hard to imagine he doesn't get at least 5 or 6 catches and I want to say 70 something yards, and even that feels low. But
Yeah.
Myers, a lot of it's not really him. It's they're flip flopping Bailey Zappi, this rookie with Mac Jones, and Jones was hurt, and so that's just the offense in general. So I like Myers, but you cannot sit Palmer this week. No. All right, Nathan Dennison with a super chat. Thank you. Who do you pick as a flex? You got Waddle, Fournette, or Deion Jackson? Asking because of Tampa. I know Fournette hasn't been great, and then windy weather in Chicago for Waddle. Is that a factor for you?
No, I haven't heard anything that's going to be like crazy windy, like huge gusts. I got to go Waddle here. Definitely going Waddle. Like Jackson and Fournette kind of close for me, but Waddle way ahead of those guys. So definitely Waddle.
I have Waddle as a top 10 receiver this week. I mean, should feast. And yeah, the wind would have to be extreme. We always say this. We try not to overreact to weather unless it really is extreme. And I haven't even heard anything about windy conditions in Chicago. I think that's just kind of normal. So
yeah.
All right, Mr. Pred Hunter, good evening. All right, so 12-man PPR, tough position. I can see why. So you got Mooney, Algier, or Eno. I think we can say no Algier with Patterson back.
Yeah, definitely can't play Algier with Patterson back. Eno's interesting because Connor's a game time decision, could be out again. But honestly, I like Mooney this week. Look, I know the Dolphins added Bradley Chubb, but last time I checked, Bradley Chubb doesn't cover wide receivers. So this is still a terrible secondary. And we know Mooney can hit on a big play or two. So I think out of that group, I like Mooney.
I like Mooney too, and I've mentioned it. If the wide receiver starts it, he's actually had a floor. I mean, you don't maybe realize it because a lot of people just weren't starting him. He's getting at least 50 yards for several weeks, going back way before the bye. And of course, you probably saw the stat that over the last 2 weeks, Justin Fields is like the QB3 in fantasy, which look, okay, that's a small sample, but still things have changed in Chicago. They actually have an offense. So I like Mooney as well. And then I can answer this one real quickly for Charles, Cal, Mooney, or Zay Jones. Definitely Mooney.
Definitely Mooney.
All right. So MK, Swift, Deion Jackson. Be prepared. The first of 100 questions we're going to get with Deion Jackson in it. Or Monty.
I feel like this week I got the thumbnail right. I put Deion on the thumbnail. I feel like because every week I try to put like, who do I think we're getting a lot of questions about on the thumbnail? And then it's like, wow, we're getting a lot of questions about this guy. But this week I think I got it right. I can definitely eliminate Monty from this group. Now I have this actual decision between Swift and Deion Jackson in one league. And I think I'm going Swift. Like the thing with Deion Jackson, and I'm playing Deion Jackson on like almost all of my redraft leagues this week. He's on almost every single one of them because I picked him up off waiver wire. Like him and Josh Palmer, I'm starting on almost every team this week. It's crazy. But the thing with Deion Jackson, if you look to that last game, he caught 10 passes. That was with 10 passes. That was with Matt Ryan chucking the ball like 50 times. Sam Ehlinger only threw the ball 23 times last week. And like the Patriots offense isn't going to blow out the Colts. They're not going to make the Colts throw it 40 times. Like, yeah, Deion Jackson will probably get 15 carries, but I think he might only catch like 3 or 4 passes this week, which is fine. But I don't know. I feel like people are going a little crazy on Deion because of what happened last game. So I still got to go Swift here. Yeah,
and that's why, we have to kind of warn in one that I'll show a question on in a second. Everyone now like, do I have to start Isaiah Likely? You don't have to. I mean, just because Mark Andrews is a tight end 1 doesn't mean that Likely, well, he's taking his job. He's going to be the tight end 1. That's not how it works. I don't think anybody really is going to argue that the Colts offense is better with Ehlinger than it was with Ryan. Like, I think Jim Irsay might be the only one who thinks like, and I don't think it's because they thought that, this will make our team better. That's probably not why they're doing it. But anyways, Matt Ryan is one of those pocket passing veteran quarterbacks that makes the smart play and checks down or dumps it off to the running back. Sam Ehlinger is not. He's basically a rookie, a second-year player, and he's not going to make all those smart decisions, and he's not going to take the check down. He's going to try to scramble himself or play hero ball or just get sacked. So anyways, the point is Deion Jackson is fine. He's a decent flex, an RB3, but I wouldn't put him over Swift. Well, here's another Deion Jackson question. Would you start him over Drake knowing that Gus Edwards is out?
I still like Deion Jackson more than Drake. One thing about the Patriots, now I'm talking about that, they've been really bad against the run. They're like 27th in run DVOA. They're like bottom 10 in rush yards per game, bottom 10 or bottom 11 in yards per carry. The Saints still are pretty good against the run. They're just terrible against the pass. That's where the Saints struggle. So, like Drake is fine, but I think I still prefer Deion over Drake.
And I'm thinking now, remembering, was Lattimore? Lattimore is out or questionable?
Lattimore's out.
He's out. Okay.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, Drake is. It's hard to predict what Drake's gonna do or that offense. I mean, look, when an offense has no weapons, like very little weapons, they might just not do anything. Like it might not be a Drake week or a likely week. It might be just a nothing week. So, yeah. In this case, I go with the floor of Deion Jackson. Sal Palumbo, Pittman, Jamal Williams, Foreman, Josh Palmer, James Conner, if he plays. Pick 3, and then we'll do the quarterback question.
All right. Well, I'm going Palmer. I mean, I know I'm probably in the minority here, and I have a league with Jamal and Foreman, and I'm playing Foreman. I know it's a better matchup for Jamal, but I just know Foreman's going to get 20 touches. He's going to get 20 touches. So I'm going Palmer, Foreman, and Pittman personally. But honestly, if somebody wanted to play Jamal instead of Foreman, I'm okay with that too.
You have to start Palmer. Knowing now that Hubbard is out still, I think Foreman is a solid play. And I honestly would probably just put Williams in there. I would sit Pittman because, again, not a great situation there. And going against the Patriots, who have 2 really good corners, hate to say it, but I think I'd rather shoot for the upside of those other guys this week. All right.
We had a QB question too.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that. Fields or Rodgers?
I mean, I think it's got to be Fields. But, man, I feel like this is going to be a Rodgers week, but I think you got to start Fields.
It hasn't been a Rodgers season.
True.
I mean, what was it? Didn't you say the last time, a couple weeks ago, they played Washington? You're like, if he doesn't do it this week.
Yeah, I know. I mean, here I am.
Do it. Like he didn't do it.
I know. Okay. I mean,
I'm playing the Lions, but
I'm playing Fields. You're going to get like 50-plus rushing yards from Fields, plus whatever he gives you through the air.
Right.
Yeah.
At least with Fields, you have that rushing upside. I'm definitely going Fields. All right, Sabasan, again, always with us. Thank you for the super chat. I think you did it a couple times. Let's see if you have a couple of questions. The first one is your team, your opponent, chance of winning. Okay, so let's dig into that.
All right.
Murray, Diggs, D-Hop, Walker, Mostert, Pitts, Devontae. I like that.
Although he only got 4 from Devontae, so not a good start, but okay.
Your opponent has Rodgers, Waddle, DJ, Ingram, Etienne.
Deion Jackson, I assume. Right? Or
no, DJ?
DJ Moore? Is DJ Moore? DJ Moore. Okay, Waddle. Okay, you're right. Waddle, DJ Moore, Jones, Kamara, Ingram, Etienne. I mean, I definitely think you have a chance. It looks like it'll be close. Like, you both have a lot of good players, but, it's not like I don't think you're gonna get smashed. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, it's pretty close. He's got some good players. You do too. I don't think it's lopsided. I mean, obviously, you're hoping the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, the D-Hop connection continues. If it's been the way it has the last couple of weeks, you have a very good shot. Okay, so then you got Pitts, but it's Everett or Pitts.
Well, this week I'm definitely going Everett. Like, I don't need to put Pitts in my lineup and be in the third quarter, screaming, why aren't they throwing it to Kyle Pitts? Just put Everett in there. They're going to throw it to Gerald Everett plenty this week.
Yeah, this week with all the injuries, and you have to go with Everett if you have him, basically. Like, you just have to.
Yeah.
Dr. Blacks, Amon-Ra or DJ Moore, all the way from Munich in Germany.
Well,
all
thank
right,
you.
International crowd, love to see it.
I will say I'm higher on DJ Moore than I was early in the week when we did our start sit video because the Bengals are down 2 starting corners this week. So normally this is a tough defense, but they're down. They're pretty banged up right now. But still, he's still catching passes from PJ Walker, and it still took a Hail Mary against the Falcons for him to boom. Like he was, I say only, but he was only going to have like 15 PPR points until that Hail Mary, which was fine, but it's not like anything crazy. I got to play Amon-Ra over DJ Moore, definitely.
I got to go on Amon-Ra too. I know Moore's been good the last couple of weeks. PJ Walker obviously has a connection with him, but Amon-Ra, that he can be special at times. I mean, he hasn't been the last couple of weeks. He hasn't been this breakout player. I'm going to keep him in there. I don't think the TJ Hawkinson thing has like a major impact, but a little bit. And Swift not being 100%, I keep Amon-Ra in there. Jack, Deion Jackson or Patterson? There you go. Pulled together in one question.
Didn't we do this one earlier? Or no, or was that Swift? That was Swift. I'll go Patterson over Jackson. I know Jackson probably gets more work, but Patterson, it's just such a good matchup for Patterson. It's hard to, like I said, like if he gets 15-ish touches, it's hard to see a path for him being bad this week. So I'm going to go Patterson.
I'm going to go Patterson too as well. We've already talked a lot about Deion Jackson. He's fine, but I think Patterson, we've seen his ceiling is higher, and don't expect that version of Deion Jackson that we got a couple weeks ago, even if he does have the backfield to himself. Nightmarica, start one, Swift, Singletary, Monty, or Patterson, and then we'll do the tight end question.
Well, again, I can eliminate Singletary and Montgomery pretty easily, so it's between Patterson and Swift. We already talked about it. Slight edge Patterson.
I agree. Start Patterson there, and then Everett or Likely.
Everett. Like, I know the thing about Likely, though, is the Saints are really good against tight ends. Now, granted, they haven't really played any tight ends, so that could be it. But, yeah, it's got to be Everett. It's got to be Everett for sure. And then let's do another Likely question. Likely or Ingram? Okay, so that's interesting because I have this choice now in one of my leagues because I have Kittle on bye and I picked up Ingram. And Likely is still just sitting there on the waiver wires, and I'm trying to decide. I feel like Ingram is probably safer, but Likely has way more upside. So I think I'm gonna go Likely.
No, I'm a little surprised there. I mean, I have Ingram in a couple leagues. I've been starting him sometimes over Pitts, sometimes one league I just need him, and he's been pretty good. He's been pretty dependable, not disappointed there. The thing with Likely, I get he could have a lot of targets this week, but I also then remind myself he's a rookie tight end, and now I'm worried that Baltimore just is going to do nothing, like literally nothing on offense. I mean, I think I'm going to stick with Ingram. I know he's a safer play, but also he's had, some decent, I won't say huge games, but he's had some pretty good games. He can get you 12, 13 points. I mean, there's no guarantee Likely does that. So
true.
I'm giving the edge to Ingram. And then Tanner Holdorf, you got to sit one, Swift, Deion Jackson, or Michael Carter.
Even if James Robinson is out, I can sit Carter here pretty easily. It's still the Bills. I'm not playing Michael Carter.
Yeah, it's got to be Michael Carter. I mean, look, this whole Jets offense, you don't have to feel obliged to play anybody because they're going against Buffalo. And again, I said this a couple of weeks ago, like Michael Carter, or maybe it was last week, I guess. He's a pass catching guy. He might get some dump off. No. Zach Wilson is just one of those guys I talked about with Ellinger, young quarterback. He's more likely to scramble around for 20 minutes back there and make an ill-advised throw than he is to make the smart check down to a running back.
Yes.
All right. Let us keep on going. No, we're not Are we ripping Deion Jackson this week? I don't think we're ripping him. We're being realistic.
I have Deion. Well, first of all, I think I have him on all but one of my redraft teams, and I'm starting him on pretty much every team I have him except the one where I have DeAndre Swift. So I don't know how that's ripping on him. I got him in every lineup. I hope he goes off. I need him to go off. Go off, please.
You definitely do. I know you have him because every league that we're in together, of course, I looked and I was like, he's probably gone. And who has him? It's always you, Chris. It's always you. Henry Odom, welcome back, Henry. All right, pick up Deontay or Marquise Brown. Interesting that those guys are just out there.
I mean, well, I will say this: if you have an IR spot, pick up Marquise Brown, move him to IR, and then go pick up Deontay Johnson. But assuming you don't, I'm still gonna pick up Marquise Brown because, sure, Deontay Johnson's one of those guys. You're like, oh, all my wide receivers are on a bye, or I got Mike Williams hurt this week. I can throw him in there and he'll give me some points. But that's it. That's all you're ever gonna get with Deontay Johnson this year. When Marquise Brown comes back, this is okay. We got a lot of comments like, oh, you guys are disrespecting D-Hop, not putting him in the top 10 rest of season wide receivers after 2 games. Like, as if Marquise Brown is never coming back. Like, this dude died, apparently, and is never coming back on the field. Like, do we forget that Marquise Brown was getting like a 30% target share before he got hurt? Like, you think Marquise Brown is going to come in and they're just never going to throw the ball to him? Like, Hopkins' target share is going to go down. So, anyways, the whole point of that is Marquise Brown has way more upside than Deontay Johnson. I would pick up him.
I would definitely do that. Look, and with Deontay, as far as he goes, it's not target share that's even the issue. He's getting targeted, he's just not getting good targets because Kenny Pickett can't throw the ball farther than 5 yards, apparently. And we already know, they've said the number one receiver there now is George Pickens. They didn't trade Claypool because they felt so great about, the depth of receivers. Just like, well, he's replaceable by Pickens. And the number 2 receiver there is really Pat Freiermuth, if you look at the targets. I mean, anyways, yeah, definitely Marquise Brown. All right, so Mario Flores. Should I flex Josh Palmer, Amon-Ra, or DeAndre Swift?
I think you still got to go Amon-Ra. I could see a path for Palmer scoring more points than Amon-Ra this week. But he also has way more risk of, like you said, like it's Sunday night and we're like, what happened with Josh Palmer? Like, why did he only catch 5 passes for 60 yards? You know why? Because he's Josh Palmer. Like, that's why. So I still got to play Amon-Ra. I can't bench him for Palmer. As much as I like Palmer this week, I still got to play Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Palmer with his upside, but again, we don't get carried away here. Like, we're not saying he's going to be the wide receiver 1 on the week. Like, I don't think that's not what a boom means. It just means he's going to be much better than, most people are anticipating. He's going to have a really strong showing, but I don't think we could say he's probably going to be more than like a high-end wide receiver 2, and Amon-Ra could be a wide receiver 1. So I'm definitely going Amon-Ra as well. Jason Quinones, welcome back, Jason. All right, so 2 leagues. Let's see, pick 3: Evans, Moore, Palmer, and Juju.
I think I probably benched Juju here. I know Juju's been great lately, and it's Tennessee. He could be great again, but I can't bench Evans. Again, like, normally I'm out on Moore, but dude, Cincinnati down 2 starting corners. Like, he should have a nice game. He's been getting involved. Palmer already talked about him. Like, if I'm going to take a risk, because Juju's risky, I'd rather risk a guy who's got no target competition with Justin Herbert. I mean, not that Juju has a bad quarterback, but he's got more target competition, especially Tony. We don't know what Tony's role is going to be, so I'm going to go Evans, Moore, and Palmer.
Not because I'm worried about Tony necessarily, but I'm going to agree. It's Juju. I want Palmer in there. Evans is just, I don't question the matchup or anything. I'm starting him. And as you mentioned, Moore, I mean, he's been the number 1 guy. Of course, the matchup isn't great, but it looks a little better than it did a few days ago. So I'm going those first 3 guys. And then pick 2: Monty, Duvernay, CEH, and Metcalf.
Well, here I'm going to go Monty and Metcalf. I think Metcalf out of this group is a must. Duvernay, I know Duvernay is like interesting, like, oh, no Bateman, no Andrews, but he only got he got you like a nice game last week, but he only caught 4 passes. Like, he wasn't that involved. You know who was more involved? DeMarcus Robinson, who might also miss. I don't know. But anyways, and CH, he's got touchdown upside, but that's about it. So I'm going to go Montgomery and Metcalf.
I'm definitely keeping Metcalf in there. CEH is touchdown or bust. And Duvernay, he could make a big play, but he's going to be big play or touchdown dependent. I'd rather take what I'm getting from Monty. So yes, agree there. And then lastly, to test my objectivity here, Dak and Tua rest of the season or Geno. No, you're not saying Geno.
To me, I mean, it's comfortably Dak here. Like, I know Tua looked good last week. Look, what are the 2 games that Tua has been a monster in? 2 games where they were getting blown out and they had to just go like all full on pass mode. He's been good in every other game, but he hasn't been like a fantasy stud in the other games. So I like Tua. And look, you talked about it in the wide receiver one when you talked about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. His playoff matchups are brutal. Like, what, on the road against Buffalo and New England, and then at home against Green Bay. Like, that's brutal for a quarterback. So I'll take Dak.
And that's the tiebreaker there. Like you said, it's the schedule. The Cowboys don't have the worst schedule. For the next few weeks, Tua has it really nice and easy. And then at the very worst time possible, it's going to get tough. I keep telling people this. Ride the wave with Tua for the next couple of weeks and then try to sell high. That's what I would advise. But I'm not going to say that too loud because I have him in several leagues, and hopefully our endgame community, hopefully they're not watching when I start feeling offers. I just want to treat Tua. Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony Summers, drop Darius Slayton for Julio Jones.
No, I much rather have Darius Slayton.
Agree. Foreman or Palmer? In PPR?
Especially in PPR, I'm going to go Palmer. Like, look, I know Foreman had that 3 touchdown game, and he's going to get 20 touches, but he's still just a bruiser. He's not a guy that's going to catch a bunch of passes. In PPR, I got to give the edge to Palmer.
Definitely on Palmer. In PPR, it would have to be non-PPR for me to say Foreman, and even then, it would be close. But all right, Royal Flush. A Royal Flush typically cannot be beat, except for last week when you lost. But you're still tied for first. So here's the question: Pitts or Everett? We already answered that.
Yeah, definitely Everett.
And then for Superflex, quarterback, Burrow or Fields?
I still got to go Burrow. I know he wasn't great last week, but I feel like this is going to be like a Burrow scorched earth game at home against Carolina. I'm not scared of that matchup at all. I feel like a big bounce back for the Bengals this week.
Yeah, the matchup is nothing to be worried about with Burrow. So do like Fields this week, but not over a guy who's that kind of the upper echelon quarterback. So I'll go Burrow as well. Another regular chat here before we get back to the super chats. You will not get laughed at. No question is, well, some questions are bad. But look, Darnell Mooney, DeAndre Carter, or Kadarius Toney?
Definitely Mooney for me. Toney, I have Toney in a couple leagues where I've stashed him. Not playing him. I mean, I think I have to play him in like our King League because we have 3 wide receivers, 2 flexes, 2 running backs, and I think I lost Brees and Javonte in that league or something crazy. I have no running back, so I have to start him as a flex because I have no other option. But yeah, no, definitely Mooney.
Yeah, I mean, look, Carter might be interesting, except that now he's questionable too. And if he's not 100%, it's like, I'm not going to take a chance. We both said we like Mooney, so I'll definitely go Mooney. And Toney, look, even if you pick them up, fine, great, stash him. But they even said they're going to ease him into the offense. Yeah. He's getting at most, 2-3 targets, if he even gets targets. And so you're basically hoping that he takes it and runs with it and scores a touchdown. So no way. Sean B, Foreman or Palmer?
We just did that one.
We did that one. All right. 3-1-4, skip to my Lou.
Is that an and one reference? Remember Skip to My Lou, the original and one mixtape? Skip to My Lou.
Was it Rafer Alston? Is that who it was?
Yeah, Rafer Alston. He was actually good. He played in the NBA a little bit, didn't he? For a little bit.
For the Miami Heat.
Yeah, he was good. Anyway.
All right. So Pittman or Thielen, and then I think this is a different question: Gibson, B-Rob, or Williams for flex. So Pittman or Thielen?
I'm still playing Pittman. Here's a fun fact: Pittman is second in the league in receptions over the last 3 weeks. Second in receptions. He's not racking up a lot of yards because he's got Matt Ryan and Sam Ehlinger, but at least he's getting the receptions. Thielen is fine, but he's really got to score, so I'm still going Pittman here.
I'm going Pittman too. Thielen just hasn't proven to be really reliable option for fantasy. And then Gibson, B-Rob, or if that's Jamal Williams, I mean, I can very easily say Jamal Williams. Do you agree?
Yeah, in this case, definitely Jamal Williams for me.
Definitely Jamal Williams. We appreciate you. Skip to Malou. And Kyle Grove. What is up, Kyle? Full PPR, would you trade? All right, we got a trade question. Josh Allen and Melvin Gordon for Geno, Etienne, and Elijah Mitchell.
At first, I thought it was just for Geno. I was like, what? No. Okay.
Etienne?
I mean, you're getting a huge running back upgrade, like huge. You're going from an unstartable running back to an every week, no doubt, just put him in your lineup and just enjoy the fantasy points. But you're also going from like a huge, like I know Geno has been good in real life, but in fantasy he's just been okay, right? It's not like Geno Smith is putting up huge monster fantasy games week in and week out, which Josh Allen puts up huge monster fantasy games week in and week out. So I mean, I guess this would come down to me, like, who are your other running backs? You know, if Melvin Gordon is like your RB2 because you're decimated to injury, like I have a league where I'm starting, you know, like Deion Jackson and Tyler Algier. You know what I mean? Because I've just been hit so hard with injuries, and it's a deep league. Then I would probably take this and say, you know what, I need Etienne, and I'll just roll with Geno Smith or stream a QB or whatever. But if you are okay at running back, like if you have two good running backs, I'd probably keep Josh Allen.
That's what I wonder. Look, if Melvin Gordon is your RB2 and you having to start him every week, I can see doing this. Again, it's all about need, and that's why you can say, you know, talent-wise, that's not always the case. So the big downgraded quarterback for the upgraded running back. Like if Melvin Gordon is like your third running back, I don't do this. I don't do this. Because it's not worth it. And Elijah Mitchell, I guess he's saying, I have CMC. You know, Mitchell, that's kind of like the sweetener there because then you have the handcuff. But to me, that's not going to be a reason to make this move.
No.
So I don't know if that answers the question. If Melvin Gordon is a guy you feel like you're having to roll out every week, I think you can do this deal and at least you're safer at running back now. All right, Justin, Garen, should I flex Lockett or St. Brown?
Man, you know, the irony here is not lost on me. You know, after the first couple of weeks, everybody's like, you guys were ripping on St. Brown. He's going to smash. You have to start him in your lineup there. And look how many St. Brown questions we've gotten tonight. And now we're getting a St. Brown and a Lockett question. So don't think the irony is not lost on me. But anyways, no, you still got to start St. Brown.
You still have to start St. Brown. Yeah, it's funny how quickly things change.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
And
I remember when James Robinson was going to win leagues and Etienne was the biggest bust of the draft.
Yeah, that's correct.
Things change quick.
NFL, not for long. That's what it stands for. Ralphie threw a super chat our way. We appreciate that. I'm going to look for the question. No, I don't see it right there. So if you happen to see it before me,
you might have done another one way down here. Let me see. Is this him? Yeah, so he did another one right here.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Ralphie. Family League. Those are the best. My dad has Hill. My players are Hurts, Saquon, Jacobs, Walker, Foreman, Olave, Moore, Kirk, Ayuk, Waller, Muth, Fields. Who can I trade for Hill? I like how he says without making it look like you're trying to scam your dad.
Yeah,
you're
gonna scam him, but you don't want it to look like you're scamming him, right? If you don't want it to look like you're scamming him, probably Foreman and Ayuk. I think would look like you're not scamming him.
Foreman and Ayuk, or what about even DJ Moore coming off that?
Yeah,
maybe he doesn't want two Panthers.
Yeah, Foreman and Moore, Foreman and Ayuk.
Unless that's Rondale Moore, but yeah, I think Foreman and Ayuk is. I wouldn't say
it's
fair.
Not fair. I mean, look, you're still scamming your dad if you make this deal. It just might not look like you're scamming your dad because people are like, Foreman's a starting running back. Ayuk's had 3 big games. Like, this is how people think, right? Like, oh, like, okay, like, you know. So you're still scamming them. It might not look like you're scamming.
Yeah, Foreman has to be the running back. Really, any of those receivers other than Olave, package those two together.
Yeah, exactly. Any of those receivers.
Look, even if you want to package 2 of those receivers, I'm fine with that. If you get Tyreek Hill.
Exactly.
All right. Tyler Havens, welcome back. All right. So would you start Palmer over Cup or Adams? No way.
No, again, you can't sit these guys for Palmer. Like, I get that Cup is risky with the ankle, but Palmer's still risky. Like, Palmer is not a very good real life wide receiver. He just really isn't. I had high hopes for him, but it just hasn't happened. And I don't know if you guys know about reception perception, but we're big into Matt Harmon and the work he does. And he did chart Josh Palmer earlier in the year, and he does not get a lot of separation. He's not very good. Now that he can overcome that against the Falcons, but come on, Cooper Kupp on one ankle is still better than Josh Palmer. Like, I'm not benching.
Yeah. Would you start blank over Cup? No. Like,
Yeah,
no. Adams? No. I know last week he literally had the flu. Like,
Yeah.
just no. And then Brendan Palmer, another Palmer question, or Davis. If you're talking about Gabe, it's a little closer. And this one, I might go Palmer.
I might go Palmer too, just because both have huge ceilings this week. But I actually feel better about Palmer's floor than Davis's floor. Like, we've seen Davis does not have a floor, which we kind of knew he wouldn't have a floor. I think Palmer can at least catch like 5 passes this week and get you like double-digit PPR points. And I think they both have big ceilings, so I'll go Palmer.
Yeah, I'm going Palmer. And here you're asking Walker, Patterson, or Lions RBs, meaning both of them? And I don't know how many you need here.
I'm thinking he probably means he has Swift and Jamal, so maybe like he's asking. I have Walker. I don't think so. Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I didn't write it, so I don't know. But I'm understanding it as Walker, Patterson, or one of the Lions running backs, Swift or Jamal. I'm guessing he has both.
I mean, I would have Walker first out of all of those.
Yeah, I have Walker over all these guys, and then if it is 2, I would put Patterson in second.
Yeah. Again, like Chris had Palmer as a boom. I have Jamal Williams as a boom, but like them this week. Well, you're not going to start him over a just bona fide stud. Kenneth Walker has pretty much been a stud. Gabe Davis hasn't. Like, he's been up and down, so that's the difference. All right, and I do realize we're still catching up, playing catch up as always. We're trying to get to them in order. Don't forget, guys, if you throw a super chat our way, we guarantee we will get to it. Just stick with us. We're also doing some regular chats as well, but we might need to pick up the pace a little bit. So I know we talked about this a little while ago. No, did not get to see that game in Northwestern. Apparently 50-mile-per-hour gusts, that would be near Chicago. I mean, if that's the case, I might be a little worried.
Yeah, if it's still like that tomorrow, I might be worried. We'll see. I haven't heard anything. Like, I follow some weather guys, and I haven't heard anybody saying, like, that it should be bad.
All right, definitely going to look into that for sure. The Herf Locker. Probably out. Would you start Likely or play safe with Hayden Hurst?
I'm still going Likely. I'm chasing that targets and the upside. Like, yeah, Hurst, but Hurst surprisingly only had like 4 targets last week, even without Jamar Chase. So I'm still going Likely.
Yeah, like Hurst's guy is a little too safe. Again, safe is like 8 points, in PPR. Likely can do that and more. So, yeah, Hurst is a little too safe. Trench Road. All right, so picking 2: Rondale Moore, Hayden Hurst, Eno Benjamin. Having D-Hop, that's not worried. Look, 2 of those guys are Cardinals. You're probably going to pick Cardinal anyways. So, out of those guys, look, if you play 3 Cardinals, I don't think that's the worst thing.
Yeah, but he's saying pick 2, right?
I think so.
2. So he's got D-Hop. I was thinking D-Hop. Okay, he's got D-Hop. I'd probably go more and Eno. Even if Connor plays, it doesn't sound like he's gonna be able to play a lot. Like, he's game time decision, barely practiced. I go more and Eno.
Yeah, I think he's saying he has D-Hop because he's worried, like, if we pick Moore and Benjamin, then you got like half the Cardinals on your team. And I mean, that's not ideal, but is Hayden Hurst going to score more points than Rondale Moore? Probably not. Is Hayden Hurst going to score more? That's it. That's all you have to worry about. So
exactly. It's not like, I don't like having 3 Cardinals, but Hayden Hurst, like, he doesn't really excite me. So, yeah.
What is up? Tyler Foley is back finally. Been wedding planning. Okay, that does take quite a bit of time. You know how that is.
Yes.
But glad you're back, Tyler. All right, so with Mark Andrews out, likely, does he fill the spot, or should you start Hurst or Ertz? Well, we already said over Hurst, but what about Ertz?
Ertz is tough. It's like since D-Hop came back and Rondale Moore got healthy, it's like they don't throw to Zach Ertz anymore. It's weird, but do I trust likely over Ertz? Probably not. I think I still got to go Ertz.
Yeah, I'm still going to Ertz because, again, he's been so solid all year. It's true that lately Hopkins has eaten into his production. That is a fact. But Ertz is still a guy you can pretty much depend on. I'm not going, I'm not taking that big a risk unless I happen to be down and need to play catch up and going for the boom. But I think Ertz will be fine. I would stick with Ertz in this case. And then we have like the jeans, Fields or Cousins.
Now this is close for me. This comes down to what do you want more? Do you want the safety of Cousins? Because Cousins, he's going to get you like 17 to 20 probably. Probably won't get you 25 or 30, but he'll get you like 17 to 20. Fields, maybe like 13 to 25. You know what I mean? Like, because Fields could run for 2, he could run for a bunch of yards, he could throw a bomb, but he could also like not do any of that stuff and like kill your week. So at QB, I tend to play a little safer at QB. I'm not the type of guy that like shoots for the ceiling at QB. I'm just give me my high floor at QB, and I'll let the rest of my players give me my upside. So I'm probably going Cousins here if it's me.
Well, I would have said Fields, but now that I'm hearing that there's 50-mile-per-hour winds in Chicago and all this stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe I should look into that. Yeah, I go Cousins because, look, initially I saw the matchup and I look at what's going on there. I'm thinking, okay, Cousins could have a big week. And then I realized he really hasn't had a big week all year. So maybe, at the very least, he's pretty safe. Like, he's pretty safe.
Yeah.
I'll go with Cousins in this case.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. So go ahead. I'm looking up weather here. Let's see. Okay, so it says it's wind 16 miles per hour is what it's expected for tomorrow. That's what it says.
16, not 60.
Yeah, 16. I don't see. That's nothing.
That's different from 50. So.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it could change, right? Weather changes quick. It could change. So I don't see anything where I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm not saying it won't get worse, but I'm not worrying about that yet.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go Cousins. We'll both go Cousins for this one. Skip to My Lou is back for a tight end question that is very similar to what we've already answered. Likely or Everett?
Got to go Everett this week. I mean, if I'm going to take the guy who's going to probably get a huge target share, I'm going to take the guy on a team that I know is going to throw the ball a lot. That's the Chargers.
I'm definitely going with Everett for sure. Garden Jedi.
All right.
Start Monty, Herbert, or Drake.
Here we go. Because these are kind of 3 similar guys to me. Like,
now it doesn't say if it's PPR. If it's PPR, then yes, Monty will catch some passes.
Yeah.
Drake really doesn't because of the offense he's in. Herbert never does. But the upside, I mean, to me, it's Herbert with the upside.
Yeah, I want to say Herbert because he's been better, but then you look deep and you're like, man, Herbert's still like last week. Yeah, he had more carries, but he's still only like Montgomery still played over 70% of the snaps. So yeah, probably Herbert. It's probably who I go with, but
I'm going Herbert. Got a chat from the big bad wolf himself. All right, well, Pacheco or Tony?
Jeez. I'm probably going to go Tony here, only because at least I feel good that if they get the ball in his hands a few times, maybe he can break one big run, like he can take a wide receiver screen or a quick slant and go for like 50, 60 yards. Like, what is Pacheco really going to do? Like, even before the bye, like Rappaport tweeting out before the game, Pacheco's going to be the starter, and everybody, myself included, ran out, grabbed him, put him in my lineup, and then CEH still got more carries than him. It's like, what the heck? Like, but like these are two guys I want to see what happens coming out of the bye, but Tony at least has some upside, so I'll go Tony.
All right. Well, I'm not going Tony because I don't think he's barely going to be involved. Pacheco, at least one thing he can do is score a touchdown. I mean, he did that, and he can do that. At least I feel like he'll get some touches. I'm not rolling Tony out just yet, but it's easy for me to say because I don't have him. All right, Josh Campbell in standard PPR. I don't. Okay. All right. So Hurst or
Isaiah Thomas?
Thomas.
I don't know who that is. I'm trying to think who that could be. You have any idea? I don't have any idea.
I can only think of the Pistons and the Bad Boys, Isaiah Thomas.
Let me.
Right,
Ian Thomas? I mean, the only guy, Ian Thomas.
Ian?
But is he even playing?
If he is, I don't think it matters.
Okay, well, he actually has been playing. I'm looking at his game logs. He's actually had 1 point, 1 point, 4 points, 2 points. All right, well, if it's him, definitely Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst either way.
I'm just saying Hurst. All right,
yeah,
Hurst. Foreman or Jackson in the flex. That's tough.
I slight lean Foreman for me because I don't expect Jackson to get 10 catches again. Foreman, look, we saw it last week without and look, they were losing in that game. It wasn't like they were right. They had to throw a Hail Mary to try to salvage the game. And he got 27 carries or 20 something carries. Like, he's gonna get all the work out of this backfield. So I'm gonna go Foreman.
Yeah, the game script might not be nearly as favorable, but yeah, I would go Foreman as well. And then wide receiver 2, Myers or Palmer.
I think we talked about this one. I'm going to go Palmer. I think he has just as high a floor as Myers with a higher ceiling.
Exactly. So there we go. Hurst, Foreman, Palmer. 7-1. Hey, doing pretty good. All right. We got Josh Engel. Pick one for half PPR. Pittman, Rondale Moore, or Tony.
I can't sit Pittman for either of those guys. I definitely not Tony. Like Rondale, okay, maybe he scores a touchdown again like he did last week, but if he doesn't, what are you really getting from him? Again, Pittman at least is getting 9 targets last week on 23 Ellinger attempts. Like, at least we know the ball will get thrown his way, so I'm going to go Pitt.
Yeah. Like Rondale did put up numbers last week, but I don't feel like I can, trust that on a consistent basis. I don't love Pittman this week, but I would go with him over Rondale Moore. So go there. Fonzie Doobie Fresh.
All right.
Amon-Ra or Dobbs?
See, this is the irony is not lost on me, guys. It's not lost on me. I don't know if irony is the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Like, Amon-Ra definitely here. Amon-Ra.
Definitely Amon-Ra for sure. Austin, 2 receiver, 1 flex. Gabe, Boyd, Palmer, Olave, Pittman. Okay, so we're picking 2 and flexing 1.
Yeah, well, I think I go. Oh man, I mean, definitely Olave is a must start for me this week.
Definitely Olave.
And then between Palmer, Boyd, and Davis, it's close. I mean, it's kind of hard to bench Boyd right now. Like the clear number 2. I think I gotta go. I think I'm gonna go Olave, Boyd, and Palmer.
That's what I was gonna say. Olave is a must start. Like, you have to. Yeah. And then Palmer, and we love Palmer, and we've already picked him over guys like Gabe. And yeah, I would go with Boyd as well. I mean, and a lot of that's based on matchup. Pittman with a tough matchup. Gabe Davis, honestly, the Jets have been a really good defensive team.
Yeah,
and I don't feel like he's necessarily in line for a big game.
Yeah, then he had another question. He said, should he still trade Kelsey for CMC after this week? Yes. Look, it's hard giving up Kelsey, but if you can get a running back like CMC, I think you have to do it.
Yes, definitely agree with that. Get CMC. All right, Moises de la Vara. I'm 6-2, full PPR. Got Gino, Barkley, Etienne, very nice. Damian Harris, Jefferson Brown, Ayuk, Palmer,
Nice.
Gallup, Wandale, Knox, and Njoku with the Vikings defense. What moves? I mean, is there anything we need to do other than, I guess, upgrade from Geno? But
Yeah, I mean, but you're not. But again, you're not going to upgrade. The only way you're going to upgrade from Geno is if you give up like a stud, like we saw the other trade where it was like you have to give up Etienne if you want to get Josh Allen, and now you're going to be rolling out Barkley and either Damian Harris or Benjamin as your RB2. That's like too huge of a hit to your team. So I don't think you have to do anything. There's a good reason why you're 6-2. You have a very good team that's set up very well for the stretch run. Look, we know Mike Williams is probably going to miss at least one more week, if not two. Keenan Allen, are we even going to see Keenan Allen this year? Like, who knows at this point? So Palmer can be like an every week plug and play wide receiver when you need him. You got Gallup, you got Knox and Njoku. You're good. I think you're good. You're good.
yeah, exactly. The only position I could see where you might need an upgrade is quarterback, and you're not getting one of those top guys who would really help you without giving up one of your top guys, which you shouldn't do. So I think you're good for now. I mean, stay active on the waiver wire. If somebody pops up that looks like a very good ad, do it. I mean, you don't have to ignore it just because you don't like, oh, I don't need a player, but you could always use upside, and you could always prevent someone else from getting that good player.
And also, I'll say right now, because we're in the bye weeks and I've seen a lot of players drop, this is the time when people who have been stashing 2 QBs, they got Josh Allen and, Kyler Murray because they drafted both of them. And they realize, oh my gosh, I have all these buys and injuries and I don't need Kyler Murray. And bam, all of a sudden Kyler Murray's on the waiver wire. All of a sudden Joe Burrow, you know what I mean? Like, it happens. It happens. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout where you might be able to upgrade your QB position just from waivers.
This is true. Very true. Always be looking. Always. PPR start 2 players, Dion, Lockett, or Boyd.
I think I definitely have to start Boyd out of this group. And it's close between Dion and Lockett. It's close. It's kind of like a floor versus ceiling debate for me. Like, do you want the running back who's probably going to get 15 plus touches, has a chance to score, not going to kill your week, or do you want the wide receiver who can might get you 4 points but could also go off for 25 on any given week? So
what do we always say? Upside wins championship. Go with the upside. I'm going Lockett and Boyd.
I'm probably going Lockett too, but man, I'm probably going Lockett too. Boyd and Lockett.
Boyd and Lockett it is. That was Dudone. Thank you again for the super chat. And this time we have David Uffner, Kenyon Drake, or Deion Jackson.
I have Drake higher than. I have Deion higher than Drake. Drake, Justice Hill is healthy. He'll catch passes. I don't know about Yeah, I have Deion higher. I feel better about his role and his usage.
Yeah, agree. In this case, I'll go Deion because that's the thing. Drake doesn't bring you that floor or catching passes because he's on the Ravens. He's actually a really good pass catching back. That was really what he was. When he first drafted by Miami, coming in the league, we thought, he'd just be like a third down back, but not in Baltimore. Jeff Barr, Curtis Samuel, or Josh Palmer?
Definitely Palmer for me here. Just Curtis Samuel's fine, but just no upside, and especially with Taylor Heineke, he's a guy that, like you said, he's one of these guys. He'll run around and then make an ill-advised throw down the field and just be like, please catch it. You know what I mean? He's not going to – Curtis Samuel could just be standing there uncovered 8 yards down the line, 8 yards, hey, just throw it to me. And Heineke's like, no, I'm going to chuck it 40 yards into triple coverage and hopefully Terry McLaurin makes a play, right? He's one of those guys. So he's kind of hurting Samuel's value right now. So I'd definitely go with Palmer.
Yeah, Samuel really hasn't been too interesting for fantasy the last several weeks. So, we love Palmer this week. You got to start Palmer. Would you start Fields over Murray? No.
Plus Murray in a good matchup this week. Yeah, way higher floor.
All right, so we got one from George Palamanturas. I don't see where the question is. So, George, we will look for your question.
I'll take a look.
Again, guys, I know we're a little backed up, but we will catch up. Don't worry. Just stick with us. We will get to all those super chats plus some of the others. So let's move on. Johnny Camarena is always with us. Welcome back again. Tom Brady or Justin Fields?
I think I gotta go Fields. Like Tom Brady, Rams secondary starting to get better, starting to play better. Brady hasn't looked good. Fields will run. I think Fields has more upside. I gotta go Fields.
Me too. Brady will get yardage. They're not scoring touchdowns, and yeah, this isn't going to be an old-fashioned shootout like you would think Rams and Bucks should be like last year. And then Patterson or Aaron Jones, you got to start Aaron Jones against.
Yeah, I gotta start. I have Aaron Jones a boom. Love his matchup. Got to start Aaron Jones.
Definitely starting Aaron Jones. All right. Andrew O'Connell, thoughts on trading Ramondre for the Sun God? He's got Mixon, Etienne, Pierce, and Fournette. Well, then, yeah.
So in your case, I'm assuming you probably need wide receiver help. You're stacked at running back. This is a very fair trade, in my opinion. This is exactly the kind of trades that should be done, where one team needs a running back, one team needs a wide receiver. So you exchange a very good wide receiver for a very good running back. So, yeah, I think it's a great trade. And for your team, do it.
Great move for you. Definitely have to do that. Now let's go back. Remember when we were curious at Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah.
And all right, so Josh said meant Isaiah Likely, which makes a lot more sense.
I'm going Likely over Hurst this week.
Okay. Yeah, Hurst not super exciting. I'm gonna agree in that case. I'm not gonna say Hurst. We'll change that to Likely. Yeah. I think he was probably having a flashback to NBA too. He was thinking Isaiah.
Okay. All right. Well, after this one, I found George's, so go ahead with this one, and then we'll get to George's.
All right, Kirsten Johnson, full PPR, Palmer, Lazard, or Kirk.
I think in this, I do like Lazard this week, but man, he's a game time decision. Like, might not play full snaps. Kirk in a good matchup, but I mean, Kirk just as risky as Palmer, and you never know when Kirk just isn't going to get targets for no reason whatsoever. So I'm going to go Palmer.
I'm going Palmer too. Again, those other guys, very risky. I think you got to feel good about Palmer.
Yeah, and then here's George. Here we go.
All right, George, thank you very much. We appreciate your super chat. So you get a 10-team league, 7-1. Very nice. You got Hurts, Etienne and Walker, Jefferson and Hill. Very nice.
I see why you're 7-1.
Flexing Everett though. I mean, this week I get that, but let's see.
Yeah.
Pick up Mooney or Duvernay for the flex. So would you like Mooney or Duvernay over? Well, I would say Pitts because you want to start Everett for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would pick up Mooney.
I
would pick up Mooney anyways. I mean, unless you don't have the bench room, but I'm assuming if you're asking if you could pick him up, you probably have somebody on your bench you have no problem dropping. Do I flex him over Pitts? I probably do. I like the matchup for Mooney this week. He's been more involved. Like, look, I'm not ready to just jump. Like, I jumped back on the Kyle Pitts train the last time he had a nice game, and then what happened? The train, like, he did nothing. I'm not ready to, I need 2 games in a row from Pitts before I'm back on. So I would move Everett to tight end and flex Mooney if it was me.
That's exactly what I would do. We had a Everett versus Pitts question earlier. We both got Everett higher. I think Everett's your tight end, and I would take the shot on Mooney over Pitts. The upside is greater. Yeah. That Dolphins defense has given up some, chunks of yards. So let's do that. All right. One of our favorite usernames, Smokey DeBurr.
What's up?
Smokey wants to know, pick 2, Renfro, Mac Hollins, Khalif Raymond, Julio, Van Jefferson, or Jarvis. I don't think you can start Jarvis. You don't know how much he's going to be involved.
Not only that, Jarvis looking very doubtful, so probably will barely play. Julio, never Julio. Van Jefferson didn't even have a target last week. Can't play him. Renfro, cannot play him. Mac, interesting, but obvious. But again, Devontae Adams, we got to think Devontae Adams fully healthy this week. Mac Hollins probably not going to get 8 targets again. Khalif Raymond kind of had a sneaky good game, and with Josh Reynolds out, I think he could have another sneaky good game. I'm going Khalif Raymond.
All right, here's the problem: is we have to pick 2 of these.
Oh, Oh,
To pick 2. I know this is.
That
We
is a
went from a
problem.
10-team league to apparently a 16-team league. At least I hope.
Okay,
Like
then
bye weeks. It's probably bye weeks.
I'll go Khalif Raymond and Matt Collins.
I was gonna say Matt Collins. He's been pretty consistent. He's been better than Renfro all year. He's been getting targeted more consistently all year. So I go Matt Collins, and for me, my second choice is Khalif Raymond, because at least you have big play potential. And then Hasty or Jeff Wilson.
I'm gonna gamble on Wilson. Like I don't think Wilson will have a big role, but we know Hasty does not have a role. It's all at the end. And look, Wilson knows this offense. He's played in this offense. It's not like he's getting to get, this is a brand new offense for him. So I think don't love Wilson this week, but I think he gets slightly more work than Hasty.
Yeah, I would just hope that Wilson gets some action because Hasty he won't. I mean, he's purely a handcuff. Purely.
Yeah.
And then Joe, what is up,
What's
Joe?
up, Joe?
It is time to drop Hunt. I mean, maybe. But
Yeah.
it depends who you got out there. He's still, talk about handcuff. I mean, is there a higher end handcuff than Kareem Hunt?
Maybe Alexander Madison, but that's it, right? That's it. And the difference between the two is Hunt at least scores. Well, I guess Madison's been scoring some fantasy points this year, but yeah, him and Madison feel like the two highest end handcuffs right now because, yeah, like if Chubb goes down, Kareem Hunt is gonna smash. So, like you can drop them, but it's got to be for somebody good. Like don't be dropping them for like a dart throw because I'd rather just take the dart throw with Hunt.
Well, I'm wondering if these two questions are related because he's asking for next week to pick up Justin Fields to replace Lamar on the bye week. So are you basically dropping Hunt for next week's quarterback? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Justin Fields is still on your waiver wire, then nobody's gonna pick up Justin Fields, I assume, because they'd pick him up this week to play him, right? So if they don't need him this week, I don't see why they would pick him up next week, unless, of course, I don't know what other quarterbacks are on bye next. I know Burrow's on bye next week, so maybe you have to fight with the Burrow guy, but yeah.
I mean, maybe the only concern, which I wouldn't, that's really getting ahead of yourself, is they, well, Justin Fields has a monster game, and then, we got all these people bidding to pick him up. Like, I mean, maybe, but even so, you're replacing a quarterback for 1 week. I'm holding on to Hunt just because, again, he's a Chubb injury away from being a top 10 running back. That is probably the best offensive line in the league. Like, look, Nick Chubb is a great runner, but let's not pretend if you put Nick Chubb on the Houston Texans that he would be doing what he's doing. Okay, so I don't drop Hunt. I don't know if you have anybody else you can, drop. Of course, Joe, you'll probably be with us tomorrow morning, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't want to drop Hunt, especially if it's just for next week's quarterback. That's me. All right, and then Jay Watson, 706 Gaming. All right, thank you. Go Dogs. Just traded Kamara for Barkley with some others. Okay. Kamara situation, and I saw somebody in the chat say something like, "Is Kamara going to play?" Or what's the deal with Kamara? Because that TMZ video did just drop.
Yeah, so it's so weird. Like TMZ has had this video for like months. Like they just finally today got why? Like it's weird to be like, why did TMZ choose today to release a video? I don't like her. Somebody in one of the higher ups in TMZ playing Alvin Kamara this week, and nobody got suspended. Like I don't know, but but here's the thing. By NFL standards, and I don't think the NFL is going to look at this video and think that's very bad. Sadly, right? I think if he would have kicked him a few times while he was down, or head stomped him, or done something like that, then maybe. If it was a woman, he would definitely be suspended. But because it was a man, and look, and I'm not. These are not my views. These are my observations from how the NFL has handled previous incidents. Okay, I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. I'm just saying based on what I've seen from the NFL in the past, this is how I feel. Because it was a man, and because he only punched him, and I say only, like as if punching somebody's not bad, but only punched him, I think the NFL will just wait for the criminal proceedings to play out and then make a decision. So I do think he will get suspended, but it will be next year. It'll be like the first 6 games of next year is probably what I think will happen.
Right. It's very different. We were just talking about Kareem Hunt. So, what he did, he was immediately dropped by Kansas City, suspended for a long time, and then now he's back. But this is not that. This is not domestic violence, abuse. This is a bar fight, basically, and he hit a guy. And look, so if guys who are in the Discord, sometimes there's chat about this, we do not get into social issues. There's no politics allowed, none of that stuff. We don't make judgments. So just purely football and fantasy football related. Am I worried that Kamara's going to get suspended or something's going to happen this week? 0% chance anything happens tomorrow. Am I worried he's going to suspend it next week or the week after? No, not almost not at all. He's going to have to wait till after the season. So there is no situation as far as I'm concerned right now. So getting Barkley for Kamara, I still like it just from fantasy standpoint.
Oh, definitely. Barkley above Kamara for sure.
Dorn Smitty, Jackson or a Chicago running back, Dion, or I guess we get to pick.
I have Dion over both these guys. Just fairly certainly what you're going to get from Dion. And again, people think the Patriots run defense is really good, but they really aren't. They're really bad, actually. So I like Dion.
It's their pass defense that's pretty good. And not like it was last year, the year before, but it's pretty good. So yeah, I'll go Dion because at least he's the guy. Chicago, it's still a timeshare. I like Herbert, but I'll go Dion because he's going to catch passes and Herbert won't. Conklin or Likely is interesting because Conklin also a guy who is just suddenly resurged, but I don't trust him over Likely.
No, I don't either. I'm still playing Likely over him.
Going Likely. All right. G-Man, Olave or Deion Jackson?
Olave must start for me this week. I have to have incredible options to bench Olave.
Did mention Olave in our video earlier this week, saying, remember last week was not great because of game script. He's going to get targeted a ton. He's got a good matchup. Love Olave. You have to start Olave this week. You have to. Cerulean Dog, Ertz or Everett? I think we were kind of answered this earlier.
Yeah, definitely Everett.
Everett for sure. Kirk or DJ?
Okay.
I like how the mention of DJ Moore still makes your brain hurt.
Well,
but in a different way now.
Yeah. It should be Kirk. He's in a smash spot this week. Smash spot. But you just never know, when Kirk is going to go out there and only get 3 targets. And it's why did Kirk only get 3 targets this week? This is really close. I think I'd slightly go DJ Moore. At least he's getting the targets.
But isn't Kirk going against the Raiders?
That's what I mean. It's a smash spot for Kirk. It should be, but then he goes out there and gets 3 targets, and you're like, why did Christian Kirk only get 3 targets against the Raiders? And Zay Jones and Marvin Jones and somebody else and Evan Ingram combined for 25 targets, and you're like, what? Yeah,
I know. I struggle with this too. I'm not going to pretend I don't. I feel like it should be Kirk.
It should be.
I don't know with Kirk though. I'll roll out Kirk and just hope for the best.
He does have a much better matchup for sure. Sure.
All right, we're still catching up, by the way. Stick with us. We do see I see a couple of big super chats from our friends at I think it is, Bear Cabin Rental.
Nice.
So we're going to catch up there. If you do want to get your question for sure answered, because we have a lot of them, then use the super chat. Of course, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. Become a patron and join us tomorrow morning. Every Sunday before the games, answer all your questions, not just start sit. Plus, you can get your own. There's a private channel on the Discord server, which the Discord is free though, just for patrons to ask questions. All right, Logan Christner, Kyler, Diggs, Cup, Etienne, Walker, Ertz, Olave, Pitts, Pierce, Palmer, Deontay, and Foreman on the bench. Would you upgrade Kyler or stay put in first place?
Yeah, again, I'm just riding Kyler Murray because if you're gonna upgrade Kyler Murray, to get, I don't know, Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or whoever, Patrick Mahomes, you're going to have to give up like Walker or Etienne or Olave. Maybe not even Olave will be enough. Like, you're going to have to give up a stud, and you're in first place. Kyler, like, Kyler he's been for fantasy, he's been great. For fantasy. He's been great in real life, but for fantasy, he's been great. Like, what do you like? I don't understand. Like, what's wrong with, like, why is everybody so down on Kyler in fantasy this year? Like, no, I'm just riding with Kyler.
Yeah, for fantasy, Kyler's been fine. And look, if you can say, well, here's Kyler and like Foreman or Palmer and give me Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen, yeah, I do that. But that's it. Like, I don't mess with my team. I don't mess with anybody else on this team. That would only be if you just basically just package Kyler with one other minor piece. Again, Palmer has a big game. Package him with Kyler to get Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes or Hurts, and that's basically the only three guys I would do it for. Sure, I would do that, or Foreman, because you're not starting Foreman anyways. But otherwise, you're good. I mean, you're first place because you have a really good team. All right, we already did Ralphie's question.
Yeah,
I really hope you, I hope you fleeced your dad. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Sloth, nice. The Goonies reference. You got to like that.
Yes, definitely.
We are 80s children. I traded away Adams and Kenny Walker for Eckler. That's a lot. Because I have Tyreek and Waddle and Justin Herbert and JT and Dion. Yeah, I mean, that's not the best trade.
Yeah, it's still an overpay. That's a definitely, like, at least I would have liked it if you at least got somebody else in return, like maybe a Dameon Pierce, a running back like that, like at least like a solid every week RB2 type of guy. But yeah, it's an overpay. But you might not regret it this week because Austin Eckler probably going to have like 80 total yards and a touchdown and going to get 40 PPR points because he's just going to catch that many dump offs. So you'll like it this week.
Yeah, this week, yeah. I would have liked if you would have, instead of Adams, maybe traded Waddle, because then you're splitting up the Dolphin receivers. But also, I like Adams better. Like, not a huge difference, but at least that would have been a little more palatable. But not a great. I mean, it's not like a big L, but I think, I was a little overpaid. Jesse Reyes, would you start Brady or pick up Fields or Lawrence? Well, I know you have thoughts on this.
I have Fields a little bit above Lawrence, but both above Brady this week. So Fields would be the one I would target first.
Really? So you're not going Lawrence?
No, I know I had Lawrence on the Boom video, but okay. One thing about our Boom videos, it's not like these guys are super safe plays who can also play Boom. These are guys we think can go off. But it doesn't mean they're going to, and it doesn't mean they have super high floors, right? These are guys that have just massive upside. So, yes, I think Trevor Lawrence has a ton of upside in this matchup against the Raiders. But it's still Trevor Lawrence. He still also comes with a lot of risk that he could, not throw any touchdowns. Maybe Etienne gets 2 touchdowns. Maybe he throws a pick. Right? It's still Trevor Lawrence. And I get Fields comes with a lot of risk too, but at least Fields gives you that rushing. And he's in a great spot as well. So I did, like in our endgame, one of our endgame leagues where I needed a quarterback. I think it was our Pond League. I put in a claim for Fields and Lawrence. Somebody else grabbed Fields, so I got Lawrence. So I'm just rolling with Lawrence. I like them both, but I like Fields a little bit more because, I like those rushing quarterbacks. Yeah,
I go Fields as well, just because I feel like Trevor Lawrence is not quite there yet. Like, to have this massive game, he really hasn't done it, really. It's close, but I'll go Fields. And then John Stockman.
Not Stockton.
No. Okay, start Patterson, Dion, or Herbert. And we're talking Khalil because we're talking running backs.
Yeah, I feel like we've had this just without Herbert. I still go Patterson here. Just too good of a matchup. If the matchup was tougher for Patterson, I probably could go Dion or Herbert. But with this matchup, I got to go Patterson.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I feel like Patterson can get as many touches as Herbert because, again, it's a timeshare there. And look, if the Dolphins actually jump ahead early, we might see a little bit less rushing from the Bears, who were in position to do that the last couple of weeks. I mean, we'll see. But I like Patterson this week. Welcome back to Eat More Children.
Okay.
That's probably enough. I do like Smokey the Burr, but Eat More Children, that's pretty close as far as usernames go. All right, half PPR. Tyler Bass. All right. This is all you.
Well, here's what I'll say. In I have 2 leagues with a kicker. One, I've just been playing Ryan Suck Up every single week because our patrons told me to pick up Ryan. Like, really, our patron said pick up Suck Up. Okay, I just put him in, and I haven't switched it. And in the other league that have a kicker, it's me and my friend. We kind of manage the team together, and I just let him pick up the kicker, and he picked up Myers, and he got 11 points last week. So I'm going to say Myers. There, that's my analysis. He got 11 points last week, and I know this because he's our kicker.
Yeah, you
do with that
know
what you will.
with kickers. I'll go Myers because he's in a better climate this week, going at Arizona. Could be a pretty close game. I'll go with Myers.
There you go. Some real analysis. Some real kicker analysis, unlike
It's all
mine.
about the weather. All right. Andrew Conroy, start a flex. Deion Jackson, MPJ, or Josh Palmer?
I think I'm going Palmer.
Yeah. I like Palmer this week.
Yeah, Palmer for me out of those guys.
Okay, and he's saying because he had Goddard and Hurts. Goddard, of course, had a monster game, which is why we're telling everyone now he's a must-start no matter what. So does that change your decision? I don't think so. I mean, you always go for upside, I think.
Yeah, no, because you don't know. Like, yeah, Goddard had a nice game, but what if he has somebody drop 40 on you? Like, what if he has, a player that goes for 40? You're not gonna want that safe floor anymore.
Yeah, playing it safe rarely turns out to benefit you too much. I mean, unless you're talking about a guy who's like just complete boomer bust. Okay, maybe you bench him, but Palmer's, Palmer's probably the guy with the highest floor and ceiling this week. So, and then the user with my favorite avatar, that's Kyle Burks.
I wonder, like, why is he asking me? I guess because he knows he'll get the homer answer from you, and you'll say Super Bowl, right?
Probably, but I'm objective sometimes. All right, go ahead.
I think I still can't see Miami beating like the top teams because, Bradley Chubb is a great addition to that defense, but the rest of the defense is still terrible. Like, I don't think you could just add Bradley Chubb and suddenly you have an elite defense. And when you got to play Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, and you're relying on that secondary to get a stop, I just don't see it happening. So I think they can get to like the second round, and then when they have to play the Chiefs or the Dolphins, whichever team it is, that's probably when they'll lose.
Look, am I going to say that we're going to beat Buffalo in the playoffs? No, I mean, I realize we did beat them. If anybody forgot, but yes, we did beat Buffalo early in the season. But you're talking about a team that's probably going to have home field advantage. Are we going to beat Buffalo on the road in the playoffs? I'm not going to count on that. There's still a lot of teams in the West that are good, like Kansas City, who has been there before. So I think we could win a wild card game.
Yeah.
Maybe a second playoff game. That's probably it. Not that you asked me. All right. Henry Odom again. Need 2 receivers and running back in a flex. Got the Sun God, Higgins, Pittman, Stevenson, Swift, Fournette, Herbert, and Jamal. All right. So 2 receivers.
I think the 2 receivers have to be St. Brown and Higgins.
Yeah. You got to start Higgins.
I think they're running.
I go St. Brown as well. Okay. So then for the flex, you go with the running back.
Well, I'll go the running back first. I think I have Stevenson the highest out of this group. So I think Stevenson would be my RB. You agree? Disagree?
Well, look, I'm not flexing Pittman, so I'm going to start 2 of these running backs. And for me, I feel like I shouldn't, but I am still going to start Fournette. And then I go Stevenson as my second pick. I mean, I like Jamal Williams, but I don't know. I can't just bench Fournette because he's still scoring touchdowns. He's still catching passes.
Yeah, I probably roll with Fournette one more week. Honestly, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I'm fine with Fournette, but if this was my team, I'm playing Swift. Maybe I'm too high on Swift still, but I'm going to bank on the talent, the pass catching of Swift against a bad Green Bay defense. Well, at least a bad Green Bay run defense. But it's close. If you want to go Fournette, I'm okay with that too. So I know there is some risk about Swift maybe being limited or whatever.
Yeah. This is a case more of like floor or upside, because Swift has that upside, but very, very risky. And then Fournette is more just kind of going to get you points. You just don't know how much. All right. Ralphie, the guy who is definitely not trying to scam his dad. It says the other family members are experts.
All right, so a
Okay,
realistic
so then
trade.
you
So
guys
here's
know when you
his-
can trade.
All right, so a realistic trade. So we go back to this. A realistic trade for Tyreek. I mean, you're gonna have to give up you're just gonna have to give up Walker or Jacobs. I think one of those guys.
Yeah, and you could because you have 3 really good running backs. So I think that's fine. You know,
I think if you did like Walker or Jacobs and packaged him with like Kirk or Moore or Ayuk, I think that's a very fair trade.
I'm gonna agree with that. All right, and then up here we had John Plant. I see the super chat. I don't know if there's a question attached, so we'll look for that. That's right
He was
below.
way up at the very beginning, which, by the way, thank you, John, for still being on. Let me see. I think I saw him. Go ahead, but I think I'll scroll up. I think I saw him way in the beginning.
Okay, so once you get that, throw it up there. And in fact, we have another one without the question attached. That's Brian Forth.
Okay, I got John right here, unless you have Brian.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I got John right here, which, by the way, is one of the first, this was from 2:11 p.m. So, hey, John, thank you so much for hanging out this long. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Again, guys, try to get as many of these questions as we can, but as you can see, there's quite a few. Which 2 to start running back? Cam Akers. I mean, okay, Damian Harris, who's questionable. Rachaad White. Okay, now I see why Akers is in here. Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White.
I don't think. I know they're saying Akers is gonna be suited up, but they just activated Ronnie Rivers off the practice squad. They're not going to activate him off the practice squad if they're expecting Cam Akers to play at all. So I don't think he's even going to play really. Damian Harris with the illness, so you got to wait on that. I mean, if Damian Harris is good to go, then he's probably the one guy I feel okay about in this group. Because again, It's just an illness. It wasn't like he's dealing with a knee or a hamstring. It's just an illness. And then I probably got to go Rachaad White. Again, we don't know how much Jeff Wilson's going to be involved. He just got traded this week. At least we know Rachaad White will catch some passes. He can always score. He can always get some runs. So I'm probably going to go Damian Harris and Rachaad White.
Yeah. If Harris plays out of this group, you have to play him.
Yeah.
Akers is a no matter what. And so then between White and Wilson, I go with White and, hopefully he gets involved. And then here's Brian, a standard, a flex between Dion, Juju, or Kirk.
I think it's standard. Yeah, I'm going to go Dion in standard. Juju and Kirk, they're not the kind of guys. I mean, I know Juju has had a couple big games here, but it's very you can't just expect Juju or Kirk to get you 100 yards and a touchdown. I mean, they can, but it's very unlikely, right? They're more like guys, so I'm not saying Dion's going to get you 100 yards and a touchdown, but I feel better that Dion can get 100 combined yards or close to it. Whereas Juju or Kirk kind of wide receivers, they need a big play if they're going to do that, right? They need one big play to do that. And probably not going to happen. So I'm going to go Dion in standard.
To me, if it's non-PPR, that hurts Deion Jackson a lot of his value because I don't expect the Colts to have the best running game. I mean, haven't had a good running game with Jonathan Taylor. I don't expect it to be great with Jackson. So I would just swing for the fences and hope Kirk does have a big game. To me, I would just take a chance on him because of the matchup. If it wasn't such a good matchup, then no, I would agree with you. But for me, I'd swing for the fences here.
I'll just say I don't know when the last time you played in a standard league, but I played in standard leagues the first few years.
Not for a while.
That's what my home league was. And I learned real quick, wide receivers in standard leagues do not matter. They just don't. Even if you look right now, I think the last time I looked, the wide receiver 1 in standard, when I looked, was averaging 13 points per game. That's the best wide receiver in standard. They just do not matter. It's just such a. Anyways, I won't get on a standard rant. I just always go for running backs in standard. Always. That's just me.
Yeah, if it was a running back, I felt better about his rushing output or TD chances. I would, but maybe that's the thing. I'm not as high on Dion, but Kyle Singer. Let's see, Boyd, Pollard, Patterson. I think we had a spacebar issue there. Okay, so he said later on here, I trade Pollard, Boyd, Patterson for Swift and Cook. Would you get those 2 running backs for those 3 players?
Oh, definitely.
Yes,
Definitely. I mean,
definitely.
yeah. Look, Jamar Chase is probably going to come back this year. That's going to hurt Boyd's value. Pollard could run for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Jerry Jones would be like, "We got to feed Zeke. We got to feed Zeke." And Patterson is fine, but look, first of all, how many games are we expecting from Patterson between now and the end of the year? I don't know. Who knows?
True.
And he's more matchup based. So yeah, I definitely take those guys.
Definitely take. You're getting 2 stud running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely take that deal. And that's a pretty good example of kind of selling high on Boyd, because again, once Chase comes back, Boyd will just be like a fringe startable flex player.
Yep.
So that's a good deal to make. Rob, half PPR, Palmer, Dion, likely, or Boyd for the flex.
So this is close.
I love the questions where we get all the topical players all in one question.
Yeah, this is close between Palmer and Boyd for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think I go Palmer, honestly.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's fine. It's close. It's very close between those two. So I'll go Palmer to make it easy on you, Rob.
Yeah. And then we got Joseph Martinez. First Mostert question, Mostert or Patterson? It's pretty close.
It is close, but I'm going to go Patterson again. I don't think Jeff Wilson is going to have a big role this week, but there's at least a chance. Because, again, it's not like he's coming into some system with some coach he's never played. He knows this system. He knows this run game, right? He played for Mike McDaniel. He knows this run game. It's not like he's going to go like, wait, where's the blocker? Where's the guard pulling? No, he knows all that, right? He knows it all. So I could see a case where Wilson does get more work than we'd like. So, and again, Patterson is such a great, Mostert's in a great spot this week too, like a great spot. But I just feel probably a little bit better about Patterson, but it is very close.
Look, this week I'm going Mostert. Rest of the season, I think I might go Patterson. But I think this week we'll still be mostly Mostert. And the Bears' run defense is really not good. So I'm going Mostert. Chris, you're still, at least I think you are still a Washington fan. Maybe more so once the team gets sold. Is there a Cousins versus Washington revenge narrative, or is that a little?
How many times have they played now?
It's been a couple of years, hasn't it, since he left Washington? I think that's probably worn off by now.
4 years, yeah. I think they've played a few times by now. So I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna say no to that.
Yeah.
Jason Moa, Palmer or Rondale?
Definitely Palmer.
Definitely Palmer. Landry, you can't start Landry. MVS, well, I'll still go MVS.
Yeah, at least we know MVS is going to play and be on the field. He can always catch a deep ball. Landry might not even play, and even if he does, it sounds like he's going to be very limited. So I think you got to go MVS.
And then Brady or Tua?
I can go Tua here against the Bears. He's got weapons. He can just get the ball in Tyreek's hands, get the ball in Waddle's hands, and they can score a touchdown for him. Like, what are we expecting? Brady, 300 yards, maybe a touchdown. Like, that's it. That's all you're getting from Brady.
Good answer. Definitely Tua. All right. So we agree on all three. Alejandro Sandoval, Terry or Palmer?
All right. Now it's getting interesting. Man, this is a good spot for Terry against the Vikings. Very good spot for him. I do actually think Palmer has the higher floor here. But Terry probably has a little more upside, maybe. I don't know. Can I put Palmer in over Terry? Like, if I had Terry McLaurin, because I don't have Terry McLaurin on any team. I'm trying to think, like, if I had Terry McLaurin and I had Josh Palmer, could I play Palmer over Terry? I don't know if I can. I don't think I can.
I wouldn't. I'm going Terry. He's been really good since Heineke came back. I think you're right that Palmer does have a slightly higher floor, but not that big a difference. And I think Terry definitely has more upside here. Tua or Murray?
Definitely Murray for me.
Had this question last week a lot. I went with Murray. And look, even though Tua did wind up with a monster game and more yards, but Murray basically was almost the same. He also had 3 touchdowns, I think, 300 yards. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Murray. And then Debo for Cooper.
I think I prefer Amari Cooper right now. Like, he has no competition for target. Even when Njoku comes back, he really has no competition for targets. Even if Deshaun Watson isn't great, he can't be worse than Jacoby Brissett. I still like Debo. My worry for Debo is now you got CMC catching dump offs, right? They don't need to like play Debo as a wide back or whatever you want to call him. You don't need to play him that much anymore. Ayuk's kind of coming on. Kittle is healthy. There's a lot more competition for Debo now, so I prefer Cooper.
And you think about it, I know they traded Jeff Wilson, but Elijah Mitchell is coming back after the bye. They have a solid RB2. I mean, what's the path for Debo to get more rushing work? There is none. I mean, I like Cooper better, honestly, as well, the rest of the season. And don't forget that Deshaun Watson's going to be back soon. All right, so Luke Mastronardi and the super chat the question is here. Mahomes, Kamara, Foreman, D-Hop, Pittman, Higbee. Flex is Palmer, Kirk, DJ Moore, Zeke, and Pollard. All right, so who should I start and about to trade Kirk for Cordero? Okay, let's talk about the trade first. Would you trade Christian Kirk for Cordero?
Yeah, because your running backs are Kamara and Foreman. Eventually Chuba probably will come back. And when he does, that's going to limit Foreman. So yeah, I make that deal.
And then this week, Zeke and Pollard, you can't start. So a running back, you pretty much have to start Foreman, I think.
Yeah, you got Kamara and Foreman, you're set there. D-Hop, Pittman. I'd probably put Palmer over Pittman this week. And then it's like, do I flex Pittman or DJ Moore or Kirk? Well, we had this one and it's very close for me between Kirk and DJ Moore. And I think you went Kirk, so I'll just say Kirk so he doesn't have to think about it. So I'll go D-Hop and Palmer as my wide receivers with Kirk in the flex.
There you go. That's what we'll do. And then Andy, pick 2, Palmer, Pittman, Godwin, Waddle.
Definitely Waddle. Got to start with Waddle.
Godwin or Palmer?
I think I'm going to go Palmer over Godwin. Like, I don't – even if Palmer has, like, a bad game this week, well, okay, he gets 10 and Godwin gets 13. Oh, like that 3 points probably – you're not going to like, oh, if I would have started – I mean, sure, maybe you lose by 2 and you're like, I would have started Godwin. But more than likely, it's not going to matter. But Palmer has a way clearer path to a higher ceiling. Like, what is Godwin's ceiling right now? He doesn't have one. He does not have one. So I'm going to go Waddle and Palmer.
Is this the week against the Rams that Godwin has his huge game? I don't think so.
Probably.
So I go Palmer too. I mean, it's hard to believe, but I mean, if those are your options this week, Palmer. Like next week, no, you'll start Godwin over Palmer going forward, most likely. But it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
All right, and then Josh Rowe, PPR need 2. Swift, Jamal, Pittman, or Foreman.
Well, again, I have the Foreman Williams debate. I'm going Foreman. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Williams will score 2 touchdowns again, and I'll be like, dang it, why did I do that? And I'm still going Swift. Call me a sucker. Maybe I'm a sucker. I'm still going Swift. I'm going Swift and Foreman personally.
I will say, for transparency, because again, with the rankings that, I do each week, we'll put them out on the patrons, have access to that. I have Jamal over Swift this week. So I'm going Jamal. Like, do I put both the Lions running backs? That's my question. Am I going Swift over Foreman? And I'm pretty close. And do I really want to do that? I don't know. I mean, look, I have moved Swift. I said this earlier. I have moved Swift down my rankings steadily, like throughout the week. I do have Foreman ahead of him, so I would go Foreman and Williams.
That's the other thing. We thought all week, right? Even when we recorded our videos, we just assumed Chuba Hubbard would be back this week. We didn't find out until yesterday that Chuba is out. That changed things for Foreman greatly because, like, Blackshear, he's not getting any touches. He's not getting any touches. So, yeah.
Yeah. That health is, especially for a running back, health, that's everything. And so with Swift being a little more questionable and Foreman having the backfield to himself, so I go Williams and Foreman. Chris taking a chance on Swift and Foreman. We'll see what happens in Detroit. It'll be very interesting. All right, Chuck wants to know, Juju or Boyd?
I got to go Boyd. I know Juju's had 2 big games, but Boyd is the clear number 2 wide receiver for this offense now that's going to throw. Like I said, I think they're going to have a huge bounce back against Carolina at home. Juju, okay, maybe, but look, Juju didn't do anything like for what 5 weeks, right? Like he barely did anything. I'm not banking on Juju just continuing this trend of being a monster, so I'm gonna go Boyd.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Boyd, and again, not because of Kadarius Toney. Not worried about that, but Juju, he's gonna continue to be very boom bust. He's doing much better lately. I mean, we can't deny that, but I like Boyd's upside. Not a terrible matchup, so I'm going Boyd. Pickles with London on waivers. Would you drop any of these guys? Madison, Pacheco, Hines, Duvernay, Palmer, or Tony for Drake London?
I mean, I think you can drop Hines or Duvernay, but is London the guy I want to pick up? I mean, that's the thing. Like, is London really any better than any of these guys? Like, what's London's path? Like Desmond Ridder, but the Falcons keep winning, and as long as they keep winning, they're not going to bench Marcus Mariota, right? Because like, why would you bench a guy like you keep winning? You're not going to bench him, and somehow they keep pulling out these wins every week, but they shouldn't win, and they keep doing it. So, like, I just don't see what the path is for London. So, like, yeah, I feel fine dropping Hines or Duvernay, but I'd rather pick up somebody with like a path to more upside, like a handcuff running back or something like that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, he's got Madison. I wouldn't drop Madison.
No, don't drop Madison.
And then not Palmer for sure. You should be starting Palmer this week. I'd drop Hines because whatever. I mean, come on, another running back who can catch passes in Buffalo. No, it doesn't matter. They still have Singletary, so I would drop Hines personally. Stylin Moose. Pick 2. We got Cook, Foreman, Stevenson, or Jamal.
I'm going Cook and Stevenson. I think gotta have Cook in there this week, and Stevenson's been catching a ton of passes. He looks great. I think you gotta go Cook and Stevenson.
Cook is pretty close to a no doubt must start, as far as things are going. Yeah, Cook and then Stevenson, I definitely agree. Like Jamal, but not better than those two guys. And then Kelly Appleton wants to know, would you go Herbert or Mariota? I mean, Herbert does have a lot of injured receivers, but would you start Mariota over?
No, I mean, still the Falcons. And look, like, it's not like there's some times where, like last week, or was it where Ryan Tannehill was out, Malik Willis was in, and it was the Texans, and you go, okay, they're just not going to throw the ball. They're just going to run the ball 30-plus times with Derrick Henry, and we know this, so don't start Malik Willis. But they're not going to run the ball 30 times with Austin Eckler. They're still going to throw it a ton, because they don't have another option. They don't have a guy they can just hand the ball off to 20-plus times. They don't. So they're still going to throw it a ton, and still the Falcons, a terrible matchup. And he still has Everett. He still has Eckler catching passes out of the backfield. Palmer's good enough. Maybe DeAndre Carter's healthy. I got to go Herbert still.
Gotta go Herbert too. And this is a case where you don't overthink things. Like, look, Palmer's still fine. This is why we're big on Palmer. He should have a big week. Everett. And he has, like you said, one of the best, not the best, pass-catching running back. He may not have his best week, but it's the Falcons. Like, if it was this same situation and a much tougher matchup, okay, I might consider it. But no, I don't overthink it in this case. And then, what is up, Gus? Need to drop a defense. Okay, Bills. So who do you like better at Bills? Going against the Rams this week. The Patriots.
No, Bucks are playing the Rams, right? Bills play Jets.
Did I say Rams? No, Bills play the Jets. Bills play
I would drop the Patriots because they're on bye next week, so you're gonna have to drop them next week anyways. And the Bills against the Jets, that shouldn't scare you. I know the Bills defense is banged up, but I'm not worried about Zach Wilson putting up a bunch of points on the Bills. Like, he's gonna throw terrible interceptions. He'll take sacks. Just drop the Patriots, play the Bills, and then that way you don't have to worry about it next week because the Patriots are on bye next week.
Yeah, Bills are obviously one of the best defenses. According to DVOA, I still think they are the best defense in real life. Fantasy point-wise, it depends on your scoring format. But yeah, keep the Bills. Great matchup this week. Keep the Bills. And then Joe Castles. Welcome, Joe, again. All right, there's my guide, sort of, Damiere Byrd or Dontrell Hilliard. Who would you flex?
I might go Hilliard this week. Like,
Really?
well, the only reason I say that is because I know the Titans want to just run with Derrick Henry, but they're not going to be able to just run with Derrick Henry this week because it's not the Texans. They can't just say, you know what, we're just going to run it 40 times and win the game. You're not going to run it 40 times against Patrick Mahomes and win the game because this defense isn't going to stop Patrick Mahomes enough. They're going to be getting blown out, and I'm sure they'll still want to run it with Derrick Henry, and they'll be like the Falcons, right? They're like, we're down 30 in the third quarter, but let's just hand it off to Derrick Henry 5 times in a row, because they can't really do anything else. But I could see Hilliard getting some dump offs, and maybe doing that. So I know Bird has the big play potential, and they might need it in this game, but I kind of feel like Hilliard might catch 4 or 5 passes in this game, and he's been looking good when he gets the ball. So I might risk it with Hilliard. It's risky either way. So
these are both risky. These are obviously I'm in need because of the bye weeks flex. So I'll tell you, there's one league where I'm playing out of desperation, Dontrell Hilliard. And there's another league where I'm playing Damiere Byrd. This is floor versus ceiling. Byrd has hit on big touchdowns the last couple of weeks. There's no guarantee he does that or even catches a pass this week. Dontrell Hilliard could get you 4 or 5 catches, like you said, could get a touchdown, but he could also do nothing. So if in this case, I would really take a hard look at your lineup, like who you have, your matchup, maybe Thursday night affected something. I don't know. If you just want pure upside, hope for a big touchdown, go Damiere Byrd. If you just want to make sure you get something, then I guess go Hilliard.
Yeah.
And then another one of our patrons, because we got Joe and we just talked to Gus. CPD13 just joined, I think today. New patron just jumping in saying thanks. Well, of course, that's what we're here for. And we'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow morning.
And we always have Stanley in here. Stanley Issa. Need 2. Mike Evans, the Sun God, Higgins, or Palmer.
Man, well, for me, Higgins is a must. And it's between Evans and Sun God. I do worry a little bit about Evans this week. Jalen Ramsey has actually been playing better. I could see this being a week where Evans gets shut down, but man, can I really bench Evans? I mean, even with Brady and this offense being bad, Evans has been great. He's still been great. And if it wasn't for a drop long touchdown, he'd be a monster right now. So I think if it was me, I go Evans and Higgins, but it's pretty close between Evans and Sun God this week.
Yeah, I know we were talking about Brady and the Bucs and not being super trustworthy. I'll go Higgins. To me is a must start. And again, Palmer, if you didn't have these 3 stud receivers, then maybe, but no. And so I'm going to go the Sun God. I feel like a big game is coming. It's really close. I mean, you really don't have any bad choices here, honestly, but I'm going Higgins and the Sun God. That's me.
Yeah, it's close.
All right, guys, at this point right now, we're 2 hours in. Just a reminder for those watching, we are way backed up. I know we're getting, seems like even more chats and the super chats, especially. We're catching up. So like I see Justine, I see your comment. We will get to it. Don't worry. Stick with us. We're going to jump forward here. I know that this one kind of stood out. We do have a super chat from Tyler. Thank you.
Tyler. Wow. Thank you so much.
50. So we do appreciate that. So let's get to this question. Please help need win. All right. Well, that's what we're here for. PPR, 2 running backs. You got Cordero, James Conner, Eno, Deion Jackson, or Drake. All right, let's do that first, I guess.
I'm going Patterson and Deion here for me.
Yeah, Conner, even if he does play, no, thank you, no interest. Eno has been really disappointing. Yeah, Cordero for sure, and then I'm not really trusting Drake, so I'll go Cordero and Deion for sure. Also, QBs, you got Tua in the win, or Herbert with no weapons.
I still go Herbert for all the reasons we talked about. It's just such a good matchup. I can't. They're not gonna be able to run the ball 30 times because who's gonna run it 30 times? Joshua Kelly on IR. Austin Eckler's not running it 30 times, that's for sure. So I still go Herbert.
And I'm not too worried about the win because again, when we talk about with this offense, what do? He drops back, he throws it a few yards, gets in the hands of Tyreek and Waddle, and lets them do most of the work here. Exactly. So the thing is with the Bears, is it going to be a come from behind situation? That's where Tua has really had his big games. He's been good all year, but his big games, it's because they've had to throw it, come from behind. Is Chicago really going to put them to the test? I don't think so. So I'll go Herbert if the matchup is way too good.
Yeah.
And then at tight end, do I drop Higbee? I wouldn't worry about Van Jefferson, but
yeah.
But do you like Likely better?
I think I do. Higbee's kind of seen his target share start to drop. Allen Robinson kind of getting a little more involved. So I think I would go with Likely over Higbee this week. And since you have Schultz on the bench, you can drop Higbee, pick up Likely, and then next week, well, they're on the bye next week, so you can definitely drop Likely next week and just roll with Schultz after that.
And that's the thing, is you just really need somebody for this week, because Schultz looks like he should be maybe set and forget the rest of the season. So yeah, shoot for the upside with Likely, because you're saying you need to win, and I don't know if it's because your record or you just feel like you're hurting, because of buys or what. But in this case, yeah, I go with Likely. All right, so let's try to get back to where we were. Do try to answer these in order. Which means I'm gonna jump back way higher. You get to them before I do.
I don't know where you were at here. Let's see.
All right. I don't think. Oh no, yeah, we did.
I think we did that one. So let me get down more. Yeah, we did him. Let's see. We did him.
Okay, I think here we are. Luke, I know he had answered a question of his before, but he's got another one.
No, this is the one we did because it's got the trade. This is the one we did because it's got the trade, the Kirk for Patterson trade.
Okay.
So
I know we didn't get to this. I did see this. Here's Bear Camp Cabin Rentals, friend of the show. Bear Camp. All right. So I don't see a question attached to this. So let's see if we can find the question. If you see Bear Camp's question, oh, here we go.
All right.
Tyler Algier or Cordero Patterson?
Definitely Cordero Patterson now that he's back. I think he's going to be the lead. I think he'll get the majority of the touches. Got to go Cordero.
Before the Patterson injury, I know there was one game where Algier started to get involved, but it's still going to be Cordero's, well, I won't say his backfield, but, he'll be the main guy. He was really good. He's going to be the one they lean on. I think you got to go with Patterson. Algier will still have a role. Huntley may still get some carries. He's probably the guy that suffers the most, but it's Patterson for sure. And look, when they get to the goal line and the red zone, it's definitely going to be Patterson. At least that's what I'm assuming. Fernie, Williams or Swift, or both. Josh Jacobs at RB1. Well,
you're not. Don't bench Josh Jacobs to play the Lions backfield. Still roll Josh Jacobs. Look, I'm still going Swift. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe Williams will score 2 touchdowns again. But here's my worry with Williams. If you look at Jamal, and by the way, 2 of these games occurred without Swift. He's had 3 games where he hasn't scored a touchdown this year. He's combined for 19 PPR points in those 3 games. Like he just doesn't really do anything outside of touchdowns now. Maybe he scores 2 touchdowns again. I mean, it's definitely possible against the Packers. So I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I'm going to go Swift still.
I mean, I get it. Trust me. Maybe this is me just being more risk averse, and just everything we're hearing and seeing, honestly, with his touches for Swift, I just worry that he's going to be out there, touch the ball like 5 times while Jamal Williams gets 20, and he's the one that uses the goal line. So, I don't know. This is where, sorry that we're absolutely no help, but we're going to split it. I go Williams, he goes Swift. So it's kind of a risk reward thing there. And then Tyler, I think a different Tyler because it looks like a different color. So you got Patterson, Connor, Deion Jackson. No, maybe this is the same question.
Yeah, because we did this one. It's Patterson and Deion for us. Patterson and Deion.
All right. And then, so I see some of them. Okay, so here's Justine's. Thank you for sticking with us. Justine Garcia, Herbert or Fields?
I still got to go Herbert. I still got to go Herbert. Like, it's too good. If it was like, if they were playing like a good defense, I'd be like, I'm probably going to bench Herbert. But it's such a good matchup. Yeah, I still go Herbert.
Yeah, and if you heard, we, spent a lot of time talking about both these guys, especially Herbert. Again, he has enough weapons with a team like this. You can trust Herbert is safe enough to play. You know what?
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a chance Justin Fields does outscore him. He can run in a touchdown. He could have a big game on the ground. That gives him the boost, but I'm not counting on that. I still like Justin Herbert. Have Everett and Palmer in PPR. Okay, so that's not bad to stack those guys against Atlanta. That might turn out really good for you.
Yeah, and I'm not playing Monty or Dion over Palmer, so yeah,
No.
I think he'll be fine there for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't put either of those guys in. All right, and then half PPR. Jamal Williams, Dion, Herbert, Drake. Pick one.
I mean, I know we're probably gonna disagree on this one, but maybe I'm too high on Dion this week and not high enough on Jamal. But I'm going Dion. I just know he's gonna get. It's not like, again, 27th in run DVOA, bottom 10 in yards per game to running backs, bottom 11 I think in yards per carry. I think Dion can get a decent amount of yards on the ground. We know they're not going to throw the ball because they don't throw the ball with Ellinger. The Patriots aren't going to make him throw the ball. Like, they're not going to score 30 on him probably. So I don't know. I'm still higher on Dion than these guys, especially in half PPR.
He would be my next choice, but I'll put Jamal Williams slightly over him, especially because it's half PPR. That dings him a little bit. And again, I don't necessarily trust this Colt offense with Ellinger at the helm. I don't know that we're going to see a type of game from Deion Jackson that we did see earlier, but could be wrong. Maybe I'm too low on Deion Jackson. Carla Haynes. Pick two. Carter, Mooney, Hines, Allen Robinson. Is that DeAndre Carter?
I assume so. I'm going to go Mooney and Allen Robinson here. I know Carter is like, because it's the Falcons and they don't have any receivers, but I mean, look, they still have Eckler, they still have Everett, they still have Palmer. He's probably going to be the number 4 option here. Like, what is he? And not only that, he's like a little, like, guy catches like 5 yards. So he's not a guy that's going to catch the ball down the field or anything, right? Like, that's going to be Palmer more. So I like Mooney. And then Allen Robinson's kind of been coming on a little bit. I think I'm going to go Allen Robinson.
I am too. Allen Robinson is startable. I mean, he's been okay last couple of weeks, 5 catches, each of the last 2 games. They're trying to get him involved. Don't expect a big game, but I definitely think he can do better than Carter. And look, Carter is not 100%. He's got an illness, I think. And then Mooney, we both said we kind of like. I have almost no interest in Hines. Mike Sterling, already starting Evans. Would you flex Godwin, Olave, or Palmer? Some good options there.
Yeah, good options, but Olave, like I said, I don't know if you were with us earlier. I got to find reasons to bench Olave this week, so I'm playing Olave.
Again, Olave, to me, a must start. I mean, he could smash this week. We love Palmer. Godwin is safe, but definitely would start Olave. Tyler, and this is another different Tyler. All right, but
no, this is the same one.
All right,
it's Herbert. Yeah, Herbert. I go Herbert.
Herbert with no weapons or Tua in a windy game. Yeah. Can't pick against my boy, except I'm picking against my boy. All right, Ward, Willis, Dion or Swift?
All right. Again, I do like Dion this week, but I can't bench Swift for Dion. I just can't do it. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe Dion will go off again and Swift will play, hardly get the ball, but I can't do it. I'm playing Swift.
In this case, I have to go Swift, and I'm probably too low on both those guys, so I don't know. But yeah, Deion Jackson is fine, but I'm gonna go with Swift. Joe Guerrero, welcome back, Joe. Or from last time, Pitts or Ingram?
I mean, I like Ingram, but I'm pretty sure if I had Pitts, I would play Pitts over Ingram this week. It's close. So, but I think I'm going Pitts.
I'm going Pitts. I don't think it's a bad spot for him.
Yeah.
Ingram is pretty solid. I mean, but he's just a little safer. I think Pitts has more upside. I do like Pitts good enough to make him a top 6 tight end this week. But, a lot of that's because of buys and injuries and stuff. But, yeah, I got Ingram just a little bit lower than him. D Thorne traded JT Walker and Deontay for Jefferson and Patterson. What do you think about that?
Well, it's definitely looking good for you now because JT, who knows what's going to happen with JT rest of the season. Walker's good. He's good, but Jefferson's significantly an upgrade over Walker. And then I would say Patterson's good enough as long as he can somehow stay. That's the risk with Patterson, right? Like, the dude is not like, he broke down last year. He broke down early this season. He probably is going to break down again, sadly, because he's not built for this, right? It's not what he's built for. He's a wide receiver, and he's over 30. He's not really built for this, but I still like the Jefferson Patterson side better.
Yeah, well, JT clearly banged up, and who knows if it's a long-term thing. Yeah, now I would say that looks like a win, getting Jefferson and Patterson with these back.
Yeah.
Because I don't really expect much from Deontay. All right, not a super chat, but I really feel like we have to calm Alan down because he's asked us many times with multiple question marks and caps, all caps. He really needs to know, is Swift playing?
Like 99.9% likely he is playing, yes.
How much? Who knows? Like, how much is he going to touch the ball? That's what we don't know, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's the risk. Yeah, Swift is going to get on the field. Like, he's not going to be ruled out, not that as far as we know, but there's definitely risk there. But at the same time, like with last week, he played, didn't touch the ball much, but he still scored a touchdown. So the upside is just he doesn't need a lot of touches. Malik Milligan, start 3. Davis, I'm assuming Gabe, St. Brown, Palmer, and Olave.
So I can bench Davis here. I mean, I like Davis. He's a tough guy to bench, but these guys all have tons of upside with higher floors than Davis. So I'm going to play the back 3, Brown, Palmer, and Olave.
Already said Olave is a must start. We love Palmer this week, and Amon-Ra is pretty clearly at least a wide receiver 2 with potential for more. So again, I hate to bench Gabe, but in this case, I can't.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick G. Mafia. Pick 3, Monty, CEH, Wilson, Jackson, Patterson. Standard.
I'm going Monty, Jackson, and Patterson. I mean, CEH could always score, but he's not going to give you a lot of yards. Wilson, again, I just don't expect him to play that much. I really think Jackson gets a decent amount of yards on the ground in this game, and Patterson, to me, great matchup. Monty, we know will get the work. Those are my picks.
Yeah, I like Patterson. I'm not going to go for CEH here because it is just touchdown or bust.
Yeah.
In this case, I will go Jackson. I'll go with your recommendation and start a running back over a receiver. Go Monty.
I assume that's Jeff Wilson.
Oh, I was thinking it was Garrett Wilson.
I assume Jeff since they're all running backs.
They're all running backs.
Jeff Wilson. Okay.
Jeff. Jeff Wilson didn't occur to me, so no. I'm going Monty, Jackson, Patterson. That's what you said too, right?
Yes.
All right. Make it easy for you there. Key. Kirk or Deion Jackson. This is also standard league. Guys, we're in too many standard leagues here. Go
at least half
PPR.
Standard leagues. Again, I'm going with the running back. I'm not scared of this Patriots defense. I think if he gets 15 plus carries, he'll get you 70 yards, 80 yards. And if he catches a couple passes, I mean, you're looking at 8 to 10 points in the standard scoring league. Is like, you take that every time. Trust me, the standard scoring league is like, it's brutal. Kirk, Kirk could catch 50, 60 yards, but without a touchdown, you don't get those free reception points. You only get 5 or 6 points. I just got to lean the running back personally. I got to lean the running back.
Yeah, Jackson is definitely the safer play. So I would say if you want the high upside, swing for the fences, go Kirk. Otherwise, Jackson is probably the smarter play. Jason, again, pick 2, Deion, Monty, CEH, and Eno.
Well, I go the first 2 here, even if Connor is out. Like Eno had that one random game where he had like a long run and scored a touchdown. And the other games he started, he's done nothing. Deion and Monty for me.
Agree. Deion and Monty. I'm not going for CEH unless no other options. And Eno really should be better. If Connor's out, he should get more touches than Monty at least, but I'm not counting on it. Blair Davis, welcome back, Blair. You got Cup and McLaurin. Who should I start to flex, Pittman or Gabe?
Well, here I'll go Gabe. I do think Pittman will be okay, but he's kind of like Godwin these days. He's just high floor, no ceiling. Like that's all he is, right? And Gabe has that monster ceiling every week. I know it's a tough matchup, but still, like if you get 12 from Pittman and 7 from Gabe, like okay, whatever. But if you get 12 from Pittman and leave 25 or 30 points from Gabe on your bench, that's going to lose you your week. You're going to lose because of that. That's why you have to play the upside. So for me, it's Gabe.
Yeah, go Gabe. Not a good matchup for Pittman. Not a good quarterback for Pittman. I'll go Gabe. And then Cousins or Fields. We had this earlier.
This is safety versus upside. And for me at quarterback position, I'm okay taking the safe 17, 18, 19 points from Cousins and not worrying about getting 12 from Fields because he doesn't run in a touchdown or throw a touchdown. And because, Monty and Herbert get all the touchdowns or something. So I'm going Cousins.
Yeah. I also went Cousins. Going to stick with Cousins. Henry, Marte, Palmer, Kirk, or Pittman.
I feel like we've gotten this exact 3 guys like 10 times tonight, but not calling you out, Henry. I'm just saying, like we're getting a lot of the same guys, which we do every week. I'm going Palmer here.
Going Palmer too. I know, and that's always how it is, right? The same guys. You just don't know how to value them. Kirk. I mean, every week. I don't know. I mean, what do we make of Christian Kirk? He could boom. He could bust. I mean, so I get it. Go Palmer this week. He's definitely safer. And then James Robinson or
Demarcus Robinson, who might not play, and it's Monday night. You can't really wait around. But James Robinson got downgraded today with a knee injury. Like if he plays, he's going to hardly play at all. So like it's weird that these like running backs who are coming off major injuries that just got thrown right into the fire are getting banged up, like getting re-injured. It's really weird, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so don't ask me about it. If these are all your choices, go Palmer. If you have to choose, I don't know why you would have to choose between James Robinson and Demarcus Robinson though, because one's a running back and one's a wide receiver. I would just say like put Kirk in over those guys if you're talking about a flex or something like that.
Well, I'm wondering if he meant to put Brian Robinson, B Robinson. Because that would make sense. You got 2 running backs.
In that case, do Brian Robinson. I don't love Brian Robinson this week, but at least he's going to play and play a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going James. So Palmer, and if it's Brian, which I think it is, Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
All right, here's an interesting one. Jason, again, said, the wife just asked, what for Christmas? Free from home chores in December on Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays. Why those specific days, though, I wonder?
Yeah, it's weird. But I'll also say you should also tell her to get you some Manscaped stuff and use promo code ENDGAME and she can get 20% off and free shipping. Just saying.
I've heard that they're a good company. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure what makes you say that. But all right.
I
agree. The perfect Christmas gift, guys. Perfect Christmas gift. There's a little scrolly
20% off plus free shipping.
Put the little scrolly thing again. That way we can remind
you. Yeah,
people.
here.
All right.
Put the little scrolly thing in. Where is it?
And we will get to Jack Penhallow. Thank you, Jack. Always with us on the live shows. Is it worth dropping Kirk for Dion?
If Kirk is like your wide receiver 4 or 5, like you're never going to need him outside of a bye, then I say sure. Because look, we don't know when JT is going to be back. And would it really surprise anybody if we woke up tomorrow morning and they announced that Jonathan Taylor is going on IR? Like, would that really shock you at this point? Like, it wouldn't shock me. Like, because why? Why? Like, you're not making the playoffs. You gave up when you benched Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger. You basically said we gave up. You traded Nyheim Hines. Like, you basically, like, why you don't need to be rolling out your star running back if he's not 100%. So it wouldn't even shock. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it wouldn't completely shock me if we woke up tomorrow and they're like, yeah, we're going to put Jonathan Taylor on IR. Like, remember what they used to do with Christian McCaffrey? Like, no, he's week to week, he's week to week, he's week to week, and then they just shut him down for the season. Because why? Why are you rolling out? Why you don't need to risk it? So, yeah.
Well, look, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but it is, interesting that the week after they benched their veteran quarterback that they just signed for a bunch of money, and Jonathan Taylor's now all of a sudden he's hurt, and he's like hurt really bad, and he just can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be shocking if all of a sudden it's like, oh, that ankle is just really bad. You're gonna have to shut him down for the year. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we see what you're doing, Jim Irsay. So, yeah. But bottom line is keep Deion Jackson.
Yeah.
Not Jonathan, but John Taylor. Was no Singletary or Gibson.
Look, I'm gonna go Gibson this week. Here's why: McKissick is out. Gibson's been catching passes.
Yep.
Taylor Heineke will actually dump the ball off to Gibson. He does it so Singletary. Like, what are you getting with Singletary on any? Like, he has to score. He has to, and he doesn't score because they just throw the ball, even when they're up like in the fourth quarter and they're crushing the Packers. And you think, okay, they're going to start running the ball and run out the clock. No, they just start chucking the ball and throw 2 interceptions and give the Packers an actual chance when they should just be running the ball. Like, I'm going to go Gibson.
Yeah, I'll go with Gibson too. Give him a shot because of what you said. He caught several passes last week, and that could be something that he does going forward. But Brian Robinson, much like a lot of these running backs who coming off different injuries and thrown in there, just becoming less and less effective each week.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be surprising if Gibson now starts to get a little bit more rushing work as well. But go with Gibson, assuming it's full PPR. If it's standard, no, I'll just go Singletary. Juju or Claypool at the flex?
I mean, definitely Juju. The report I saw was Claypool could play anywhere from 10 to 35 snaps. I'm not gambling on him only playing 10 or 15 or something. So Juju's got a good matchup against Tennessee. He's been playing great. I'll go Juju.
Yeah, definitely going Juju. Claypool, I'm not expecting much out of him. He's going to take some acclimating. And then Trigger Trey, stick with Likely, or would you go with Tonyan or Ingram?
So we have this one. It's close for me with Likely and Ingram. Ingram's safer. Likely, I feel like, has more upside. I don't know. I actually have this decision, and I haven't decided yet. I still have Ingram in my lineup. I could drop him for Likely if I want, and I haven't decided yet. It's very close between those two.
Yeah, Tonyan is not on the radar at all for me, so I'll go Likely. And Boyd, Patterson, or Mostert in the flex, full PPR.
I'm going Boyd. Give me the wide receiver 2 for Joe Burrow at home against Carolina. I'm going Boyd.
I do like Mostert this week, of course, and I think Patterson is definitely startable at running back. Full PPR flex, I'm going Boyd. All right, and then we have a question from Tracy Wood. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. So, would you trade? Oh, this looks like a spicy one. Trade D-Hop and Sun God for Cooper, Hill, and Walker.
No, I want the Cooper, Hill, and Walker side by a mile. I mean,
she said I'm the D-Hop side, so
yeah, no, because Hill. Look, I know everybody's in here freaking out thinking D-Hop is going to get 13 targets every week and score 30 fantasy points every week. Just like, I don't know, Amon-Ra St. Brown did the first 2 weeks, and we've seen how that's played out. Like, these things tend to normalize. But anyways, Tyreek Hill over D-Hop for sure. Walker and Sun God to me close. Like, it comes down to team need. Like, they're comparable as far as running back, wide receiver go. And then Cooper the throw in here. Like, nah, this is way too much. Keep Cooper, Hill, and Walker.
I mean, to me, honestly, if I look at just Hopkins, Sun God for Cooper and Hill, I'll take Cooper and Hill. If it's just the receivers, and then giving up Walker, no way. No, if you're going to be getting the Hopkins Sun God side, I wouldn't do that. I mean, Tyreek Hill, you don't want to trade him really, and Cooper is just going to get better as the year goes on. And then you're giving up Walker, no, wouldn't do that. All right, let's go to the next one. which is okay. So we already did Tyler's big question. Tyler, hopefully we gave you the information needed. Cornelius Terry, welcome back. Cordero, Mostert, Lenny, Foreman, who to drop and to start? What do you have to drop somebody?
Yeah, I wouldn't drop any of these guys. Honestly, don't drop any of them. I'm starting. I mean, I'm probably starting Cordero and Lenny, but I could certainly see like Lenny disappointing this week. But that's probably who I'm starting.
No, I'm going Lenny still, and I mean I do like Cordero this week. I think I'm going Mostert over him. Because again, I don't think Wilson this week will be too involved. I think they should be able to run the ball quite a bit. You know, I talked about this on the booms. That's why I picked Mostert. So I'll go with Mostert, but it's really close between all of those guys. I could see Foreman being just as productive. I could see Cordero. Yeah. And then Duvernay or Dobbs, who are you starting?
I'm gonna if Alan Lazard sits, I'm gonna start Dobbs because it's the Lions, and we saw last week we know Lazard doesn't really have a lot of targets for Aaron Rodgers. If Lazard plays and seems healthy, then I'll go Duvernay.
Yeah, you look at the matchup of Dobbs, got the Lions. I mean, he doesn't get better than that, but has he really had a big week? I mean, his Rodgers had a big week, so you're kind of being set up for a letdown. But yeah, if Lazard sits, I would go Dobbs. Otherwise, I'll just hope for the big play from Duvernay. Rye Raps, what is up? Always active in the Discord and now here too.
Here we go.
So
here we go. This question.
Again, sorry, not helping you. He likes Swift. I'm going Jamal.
Yeah.
Everett / Likely or Pitts. Again, we've had all these guys in like different form.
But here I think we agree Everett, right?
Yeah.
This week. We agree Everett at least.
Yeah. I put in those guys in order right now. I go Everett, Pitts, Likely.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. We are to in the pocket. Starting Fields over Geno. All right, I get that. And for my flex, stack Mooney or start Cordero.
I mean, I like Mooney this week, but still, what? He's startable these days, but I don't really see a path for a big game for Mooney. Cordero against the Chargers, I think he can at least get a touchdown and get a decent amount of yards and probably catch a pass or 3. So I still go CPAT for me personally. Only because the matchup is so good.
Yeah, I'll take Patterson here. You know, it's tempting to stack, but that really only matters more if you're playing in DFS. Or when you draft. But yeah, you can say, well, hopefully I'll just put my money on the Bears, making a big play Mooney, and that could pay off. But I do like Patterson. I think Patterson is just a little bit safer here. Of the people, hold on. Swift, Eno, Herbert, Myers, Palmer. I guess we're just picking a flex, just one.
Yeah, I'll go Palmer here. I do still like Swift this week. Maybe too much. But Palmer to me just feels safer, and he has tons of upside, so I'll go Palmer.
Going Palmer too. Good to see you're at least a little worried about Swift. You're going Palmer over him.
I mean, I'm not going to act like there's no worry, but.
All right. And Michael, also one of our patrons, getting spotty reception. Hey, that's me every day. Trying to listen. No, we appreciate you. Hopefully you'll get that fixed, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, hopefully, Michael.
All right, Ryan G. Lawrence or Mariota? Pick one.
I'm going Lawrence. Like I said, I think, look, I don't know if you saw our Booms video, but I talked about it. Every quarterback against the Raiders so far this year, even the bad ones like Davis Mills, have scored above their average. Davis Mills put up 19 fantasy points against the Raiders. Davis freaking Mills put up 19. I think Lawrence can have a good game against the Raiders. I'm going Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm going Lawrence. Mariota's always in the single quarterbacks leagues. He's always just well, my guy's on bye, or I'm streaming quarterbacks. Okay, fine. But yeah. And then pick one, wide receiver, Moore. Which Moore? You only got 20 to choose from. Hopefully it's not Elijah Moore. Okay, so Moore, Kirk, Goodwin. I'm hoping, is that Goodwin, Marquise Goodwin?
Well, he's out this week. If that's Marquise Goodwin, he's out. So
If it's Godwin, I go Godwin. If it's
yeah,
Goodwin,
if
it's
Godwin.
not.
I'll go Godwin. If it's Godwin, if it's Goodwin, it's close between Moore and Kirk for me. If it's DJ Moore, not if it's Rondell. But I think we had this before, and you talked me into Kirk, so I'll go Kirk.
We don't know which more it is, DJ or Rondell, so let's just say Kirk. Also need a flex, either one of these players, or Singletary, Carter, or Connor, who probably is not going to play, and even so, you don't play him.
You know what? Even if it's Rondell Moore, I'll flex Rondell Moore over those guys. So I'll go Moore and Kirk. Unless it's Godwin. If that's Godwin and not Goodwin, then I'll go Godwin and Kirk.
Right. Guessing it's not, since you're talking about like a flex and these among these guys. I'm hoping you're not lumping Godwin with like those guys. So go Moore and Kirk, unless it's Elijah Moore, in which case don't.
Well, yeah.
Eric Crum, Cordero, Deion Jackson.
Had this one a bunch, slight lean to Cordero.
There you go, Cordero, and then Likely or Conklin.
I gotta go Likely. I mean, I know Conklin got a bunch of targets last week, got 2 touchdowns, but they were like garbage time. And look, they're probably gonna have garbage time again, but this time it's the Bills. So I'm going Likely.
I'm going Likely too. You can't count too much on last week's, touchdowns to happen again. Steve, Cordero or Curtis Samuel?
I gotta go Cordero again. In a great matchup. Samuel has been like fine with Taylor Heineke, but that's it. He's just fine with Taylor Heineke. So I'm going Cordero.
Going Cordell again as well. I really hope he has a big game now. Ricky Mua, thanks for last week. Okay, appreciate it. Now this week, Carter or Jackson?
Definitely Jackson for me. I don't even care if James Robinson is out. Like, what did James Robinson got? Like what? 4 carries last week. 5. It wasn't like James Robinson frees up all this work for Michael Carter. He was barely involved last week, and it's the Bills. I'm going Jackson.
Yeah, definitely going Jackson. Carter, sadly, not quite startable. Not this week. Even with James Robinson maybe out. Let's go back to Joe Castles. Picked up Deion Jackson's Ravens. What do you think of him?
I think he means Deshaun Jackson if he's talking about the Ravens.
Oh, Deshaun Jackson. I was like, that makes more sense now that I read it. What about Cam Akers? Okay, let's talk about Deshaun Jackson.
My prediction for Deshaun Jackson is he catches an 80-yard touchdown and then pulls his hamstring and doesn't play anymore this year. Because is that what he does every season right now? He gets like one big touchdown and then it's like, ooh, hamstring injury, and then he doesn't play the rest of the year. Like, he's a 35-year-old. Like, how many times are we going to buy into these 35-year-old? Like, everybody freaked out about Julio Jones. Look at what he's done. Nothing, because he's 34 years old. Like, this isn't baseball. This isn't golf. This is football. It's a young man's game. Like, I'm not. No.
And even if you got Deshaun Jackson fully healthy for what he's worth, he's going to be what he's always been, at least for the last several years, is like you hope he gets a 50-yard touchdown and breaks free, and if not, he gives you nothing. So I'm not going to put my fantasy fortunes on that. Cam Akers, even the truther of all truthers, have dropped him in fantasy, so that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
Cornelius with another one. Ingram or Likely?
This question again. Oh, man. Like, again, I had this exact decision, and I haven't decided yet. I don't know. It's very close. I think Ingram's probably safer. Likely probably has more upside. I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably figure it out last minute tomorrow morning. I don't know.
Again, it's tempting with guys like I see Deshaun Jackson and Duvernay and Likely. It's like, oh, everybody's hurt for the Ravens. There's got to be somebody who fills in, or they could just score 3 points. I mean, I'm just saying it's possible. Likely is fine, but I think I would go Ingram just because at least he'll get you something. And it's good to matchup, really. Vic TX361. Would you flex Thielen or Jamal Williams?
Here I'll go Jamal. I mean, both these guys are kind of touchdown dependent. I like Jamal's chances of scoring better. I'll go Jamal.
I'm going Jamal. I like Jamal, but also Thielen. Hasn't really done a whole lot this year to inspire confidence. Jacob Brady. Trade Waddle and Carter for JT and Montgomery in standard.
Like a week or two ago, I would have said do this for sure. But with the fact that there's a chance JT may get shut down. They may just shut him down. And now you just traded Waddle for Montgomery, which, yeah, I usually prefer the running back in standard, but I don't prefer Montgomery over Waddle, even in the standard. So I'm going to keep Waddle and Carter.
I mean, if you're getting JT, then no, you don't do this. You cannot trade for him. Like, he looked like a good buy low the last week or two, and now it's buying no. Just don't. Just stay away. This looks like a tank job. It's a little early to say that for sure, but yeah, you cannot be buying. All right, we got Steve with another one. Herbert or Montgomery?
It's close. It probably is going to come down to who scores a touchdown. I mean, Herbert probably will get more yards. Like Herbert probably actually has a higher floor because he's looked better when he has the ball, picks up more yards. Montgomery will a few passes, PPR that kind of closes it, makes it a little closer. I don't know. I probably go slightly Herbert, but I feel like that might be recency bias, but we'll see.
No, because really all year, I mean, look, Herbert has, I think, like 200 more yards than Montgomery, even though Montgomery has had more touches. Monty does have that pass catching sort of floor, but I don't think that floor is really big enough to make a difference. I would shoot for Herbert. He's the one getting the big runs and the touchdowns. Again, if these aren't really make or break decisions as far as like your wide receiver one or something, or which quarterback to start, I'd go for the guy who has the higher ceiling. And I think to me, that's definitely Herbert. Bobby Bananas. It's like a banana hat. All right. Campbell or DeAndre Carter? Now we're getting deep.
Paris Campbell? Wow, our first Paris Campbell question. I'm going to go DeAndre Carter if he plays, because again, against the Falcons, he can catch a decent amount of, like, Paris Campbell, 2 catches last week. Like, what are we really expecting from Paris Campbell? Like, it's obvious. At least there's one thing that was obvious from last week, and that was Sam Ehlinger is just going to lock on Michael Pittman and just throw it to Pittman almost every single time. Now, it's not going to be for very many yards, but at least he's, at least there is that. Like, he's not really looking at the other guys much. So I'm going to go Carter here if he plays, of course.
Check on Carter's status because he's questionable. If he plays, then at least there's a path, right, to something. So, yeah, I would take the chance on Carter because what are you getting from Paris Campbell? Like 3 points?
Yeah.
Tail Taker, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. I know, guys, we're still catching up. We're getting there, but we still got some work to do. But we'll stay on until they're all answered. So we got Foreman, Patterson, Williams, all the guys we talked about the entire show. Pick 2 of those, and then we'll do the receivers.
So I'll say this. If it was my team, I'm going Patterson and Swift. But I totally get it if you want to go Jamal or even Foreman over Swift. I'm totally fine with it. But I'm doing Patterson and Swift. That's just me.
I feel like we've had this more than ever, the same players, like with every question. At this point, I'm questioning my own decision making. So I'm like, maybe just throw darts and like, maybe, I don't know. No, look, I like Jamal Williams a little better. He likes Swift a little better. And then we'll say Patterson. Oh, wait, start 3 at receiver. We got Pittman, Rondale, Boyd, and the Sun God.
I'm benching Rondale here. I do really like Boyd and the Sun God this week. Pittman, again, 9 targets on 23 passes, 7 catches. He also had a bad drop. He would have had like 8 for, 70 last week or 8 for 60 last week. Like, Ehlinger is locking on him. And the nice thing about Pittman, at least, is like it's not chucking it down the field to him. They're very easy throws. They're very easy, like pitch and catch, which doesn't give him a huge ceiling, but gives him a very high floor. So I'm going Pittman, Boyd, and Sun God.
I am too. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just can't be like a huge Rondale Moore fan. Zerby, Higgins, Olave, or Walker. Man, you only have to pick one
of these? I mean, it hurts to bench Olave and Walker, but I can't bench Higgins. This is not a Panthers secondary that's like you got to be scared of. He's got Joe Burrow. I do like Olave a lot, but he's still got, Andy Dalton, Mr. like conservative. And I don't know if the Ravens can force Andy Dalton out of a conservative game script. And Walker, I like him, but in PPR, that kind of hurts him a little bit. I still got to go Higgins.
Well, that's the thing. And part of my kind of argument for Olave kind of fell apart this week because I said, well, at least Baltimore can make the Saints, can put up points. And the Saints, unlike last week when they faced the Raiders and they didn't even have to pass the ball. Well, now, who knows the Ravens? Everybody's hurt. I didn't know Mark Andrews was going to miss. And then Bateman, of course, out for the year. So I'm going to have to go Higgins. I mean, not that it's a hard decision to start T. Higgins, but Olave is not quite as must start as Higgins is. All right, and then Aaron Allen, thoughts on the trade? Lamar and Ramondre for Allen and Mixon.
I like the Allen and Mixon side. I don't think. Look, Ramondre may end up being better than Mixon, but he's not gonna be way better than Mixon. And you're getting the no doubt QB1 with Josh Allen. So I like the Allen and Mixon side.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar, at beginning of the year, looking like an MVP candidate. Now it's man, he's struggling to still be that must-start guy. He will because of his rushing upside, but Allen, clearly I'll take the Allen and Mixon side. Mo, Tua or Cousins?
This is actually close. I probably lean slight Tua.
Good call. I'll go to it also. For flex, Godwin, Pittman, St. Brown.
St. Brown. I mean, I think they all have similar floors, but St. Brown has more ceiling than those other two guys.
That's right. Still trusting this ungod this week. And then Josh Christensen, Jamal Williams, Dobbs, or Deion Jackson.
Here it is. Jamal Williams, Deion Jackson in 90% of the – look, I'm going Deion Jackson. If you want to go Jamal, I'm fine with it. But again, I think people are kind of scared of the Patriots run defense because they don't realize the Patriots run defense has not been good this year. It just really hasn't. And Deion going to get 15 plus carries. He's going to catch 10 passes, but he'll catch a few. Maybe he doesn't have the touchdown upside of Jamal, but I like his chances of giving me a nice higher floor than Jamal.
And I've, already kind of planted my flag on this a lot of times. I'll stick with Jamal. Now, you didn't say, so I don't know if it's PPR, half, or standard. I mean, to me, if it's standard, it's clearly Jamal. If it's PPR, it's closer, and Deion might be the smarter play. If it's half, then I don't know.
Flip a coin.
Whichever one of us you like better.
Yeah.
Raheem, Texas, I'm assuming. Welcome back. Do you think we see a full workload from Swift this year? That's a very good question. I wish we knew, but that's the debate, right? Is what are we going to get? Because he himself, right? Wasn't it he himself said, I don't know if I'll be 100% this year. So do you think he ever gets close? He doesn't have to be 100%, but do you think he ever gets to
close? Do you think Jamal Williams is 100% right now? Do you think Saquon Barkley is 100% right now? No, nobody's 100%. Nobody's 100% right now unless they haven't played all year. Then that's why you see these guys like Rashad Penny last year, or who didn't touch the ball all season, and then all of a sudden they're forced to be a starter and they run wild because they actually are the only guy on the field who's 100%. Everybody else is, even the defensive guys are banged up and they're just running I'm fresh. But anyways. Another thing is what's a full workload for DeAndre Swift? Because this guy isn't but I mean, you didn't draft him. I hope you didn't draft DeAndre Swift thinking you were getting a 20 carry, guy, because that's never been DeAndre Swift. He's like Austin Eckler, right? He's a guy you draft, get you 12 to 15 carries, but he's going to catch 5+ passes. He caught 5 passes last week. That's why you draft DeAndre Swift, not because you want Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry usage. So do I think we see a full workload from him? Yes, if you understand that a full workload is 12 to 15 carries and 5+ catches, not 25 carries and, that's not he's never going to get that.
So I think probably the way you're asking it, Raheem, the answer is probably no. If you expect him to get 20+ touches every game, no, I mean, you can't count on that. And no, but does he need that to still be a fantasy starter? No, he's proven he doesn't. Just know what you're getting into. All right, Peter R. Cordero Patterson, of course, or Jacoby Myers.
This is close. Maybe I'm just way too high on Patterson this week because it's the Chargers, but I think I'm going Patterson. Just because the matchup is so good. Like, if he gets 15 touches, he can easily go 70, 80 plus yards, and he has always got a chance to score. And he'll probably catch a couple passes out of those 15. So I think just because the matchup is so good, I'm going to go Patterson.
And it's close. I mean, you talked about it. Why would we trust Patterson coming off an injury? Because he's fresh and he's ready to go because he's been sitting for the past 4 weeks. So he'll be okay. I think he's a little more trustworthy. Jacoby Myers, I like Jacoby Myers fine this week, but I like Patterson a little bit better. Nick Jackson, Kenneth Walker or Mixon this week? Now that is an interesting question.
I think I like Walker a little bit more against the Cardinals. I think he can definitely break off a big run, score a touchdown this week. Yeah, like Mixon, like again, I'm a little nervous. This is going to be a Joe Burrow scorched earth game. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you need Jamar Chase. You're not the same without Jamar Chase." And Joe Burrow listens to that. Like Joe Burrow, like you listen to Joe Burrow talk. He's one of those guys. He puts that away and he's like, okay, you think I need Jamar Chase? Let's see. And it's at home against Carolina. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a Joe Burrow scorched earth game. So I like Kenneth Walker a little bit more.
I do have Walker, and I double-checked. I have Walker just ahead of Mixon. So going Walker, even though Mixon does catch more passes. At this point, I think we have to admit Walker has more touchdown upside because he keeps scoring touchdowns, and Joe Mixon, for some reason, doesn't.
Yeah.
At least not enough. Adam, Arsenal, you're welcome. Okay, so here's a non-PPR one. Got to sit one. You're not sitting Tyreek Hill. I can tell you that. Juju, Gabe, or Adam Thielen?
I think I'm going to sit Adam Thielen. Like, I'm not sitting Gabe. I'm not sitting Tyreek. Like, again, Thielen's got to score a touchdown. And even then, if he scores a touchdown, what's his upside? Like 15 points-ish, something like that? I'd rather have Juju against Tennessee.
I would have Juju for sure. Gabe, hard to bench. Thielen, not hard to bench. No. I mean, yeah. All right, you can take this one. Help him feel better about Swift and JT.
Well, I just talked about Swift. So hopefully you just heard that because it was just a few minutes ago. I'm going to assume you just heard that. So I'm not going to talk about that again. But I don't feel better about JT. Look, I've been trying to feel better about JT all year. But again, my worry with JT, like I think there's a definite, I wouldn't say like 50% chance that they shut him down, but there's a decent chance that they just shut him down. Or it's like McCaffrey. Remember like a couple of years ago when they're like, oh, we think he'll be back. Oh, we think he'll be back after the bye. Oh, we'll think he'll be back. And then it was like week 14 and they finally just shut him down. I could see that happening with JT again. Like every week it's like, oh, he's getting close and then he doesn't play. Oh, he's getting close and he doesn't play. And then finally they just shut him down because they're out of it. So I wish I could make you feel better about JT, but I can't. I can't anymore. I can't.
Yeah, no, I know you definitely don't feel any better about JT. You're probably the one who's sounding the alarm before everyone else catches on. So, yeah, I can't either. I was pretty optimistic, and I was buying into he's a buy low, and he's somebody. No, I just can't.
Yep, can't anymore.
No, I guess we did. Sorry if we skipped one. Ashley Gomez says, I think that we missed her question, so here it is.
Okay.
Half PPR, 2 for flex. Garrett Wilson, Rondell Moore, Dobbs, or Zay Jones?
Well, I will say if Lazard doesn't play, I feel out of this bunch, I probably feel the best about Dobbs because it's Detroit. It's Detroit. It's such a good matchup. If Lazard plays, so if Lazard doesn't play, I'll probably say Dobbs and I think I'm going to say Rondell Moore, actually. If Lazard doesn't play. If Lazard plays, I'll go Moore and Garrett Wilson. But, like, yeah, these are 4 guys I really don't like, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's 6 teams on bye, injuries. Yeah. Like, we get it. This is why we have this. This is why we do what we do, is to make those hard decisions, because sometimes that's the difference between winning and losing, is this guy who might get you 6-7 points as opposed to the guy who gets you 0 points. I mean, I go Dobbs because of the matchup, and I actually think I go Garrett Wilson because at the very least, the one skill that Zach Wilson definitely seems to have, at least on the field. I mean, we know he's got some certain skills off the field, but he seems to be able to at least be like Blake Bortles in the sense that he can get some garbage points. Putting up yards and putting up points in garbage time in the fourth quarter, that's kind of his thing so far. So I feel at least Garrett Wilson will get a ton of targets. I feel like he can put up some fourth quarter, like he did last time. So I would take a chance on that. I get Rondell Moore probably is the more solid pick, but I think Wilson has a little more upside. And look, with these choices, that's kind of what you need. So apologies, Ashley, that we made you wait, but we did answer that. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Rock out. Pick 2, Herbert, Brian Robinson, Pacheco, Zay Jones again, or A-Rob.
I think here I can pretty easily go Allen Robinson and Herbert.
Yes.
Like Robinson, no upside. Pacheco, like, look, maybe he gets more work coming out of the bye, but let me see it first. And Zay Jones, like, what do you get with Zay Jones? Like, nah. Robinson and Herbert for me.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. So I'm glad you made it easy and say the same thing. Robinson, sadly, just presenting no upside these days. Pacheco, it's touchdown or bust. Look, you can easily get a touchdown from Herbert, and I feel much better about him getting a touchdown. Yeah. And then, look, Robinson, Allen Robinson, at least is going to get you something. So there you go. Bobby Bananas with another one. Do you trust Watson if they bench Jalen the last game of the season for the championship? I know some people are looking ahead and thinking the Eagles are going to be undefeated and they're going to sit all their players in week 17 and 18.
No one does that. No one rests their players 2 weeks in a row, and then you get the bye. Like, for the Eagles to do that, that means they're resting Jalen Hurts for 2 weeks, plus they're getting up. That means Jalen Hurts isn't going to play football for 3 weeks. No, that's way too rusty. No coach will do that. No coach is going. No good coach, and I think Nick Sirianni is a good coach. Look, he might rest him in week 18, but he's not going to rest him in week 17. That's too much. I don't think that's an issue. I really don't.
We're also getting a little ahead of ourselves, just assuming the Eagles have the number 1 seed locked up. Like, I get it; they're obviously undefeated, but things change. Well. Like, we've seen this before, where teams start out first place and then they lose 2 or 3 in a row because they just get in a slump or whatever. Injuries happen.
They almost lost on Thursday.
I shouldn't even speak this out loud, but I don't believe in jinxes or anything like that. So I'll say, like, what if Jalen Hurts gets hurt and he's out the rest of the season? They're not going undefeated anymore. Like, they're not going to be resting anybody, and then you don't have to worry about it. So, anyways, my point is, no.
Yeah.
Murray or Lamar? Joel Rodriguez.
You know what? I think I'm going Murray this week now. Like, no Mark Andrews, no Bateman.
I think you have to.
I think you got to go Murray.
You're really hoping for a lot out of Lamar if he can pull out a huge fantasy day this week.
Yeah.
He could do it if it's all him on the ground, but there's no reason to worry about, Kyler Murray. So going Murray. Hefty. Okay, I get it. Hefty. Pick 1 receiver to start. Palmer, Myers, or Boyd?
I like Palmer a lot this week, but I think I like Boyd more. He's the number 2 target for Joe Burrow right now. Again, I think it's a Joe Burrow scorched earth game. I'm playing Boyd.
I mean, it's not Myers of those two. Boyd definitely has great upside. Palmer, I don't know, man. I don't know if Palmer might be I think I might like Palmer a little better than Boyd. It's close. It's really close between those two. Who do you think is going to put up more points? You're feeling a big week from the Bengals?
Again, Boyd's a good real life wide receiver. Boyd can get open. Palmer is not a very good real life wide receiver. Now it's a Falcon, so he can make up for that because their secondary is terrible. So I just feel like Boyd. I feel like Boyd can score a touchdown in this game, has plenty of upside, and he's safer. So I'm going Boyd, but it is close. Like, I'm not going to argue with anybody that wants to put Palmer. I'm fine with that too.
Well, that's true. When you put it that way, Boyd is definitely more of a quality receiver in that sense. Yeah, I'll go with Boyd. You're gonna have to help me out here. I know we had a couple of chats from Cornelius. He's saying he's clarifying one of the running backs has to be benched. All right, so we're gonna have to go back and
All right, I'll go.
you
go
can
back
find whatever the last chat was.
Yeah, I'll find it.
We are almost caught up, believe it or not.
Nice.
And then we got another super chat. Thank you. Actually, you didn't have to do that. Keenan Allen is screwing me. Yeah. Talk to everyone about Keenan Allen. Look, I hope actually at least you were able to maybe pick up Palmer or like a Gerald Everett or somebody.
Yeah, hopefully.
Look, Keenan Allen. Let's talk about. You talked about Jonathan Taylor like just being worried rest of season. Like maybe this is it. We were worried about Keenan Allen just not being back for several weeks. Like we might see Mike Williams before we see Keenan Allen because he said what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come back until I'm 100%. When is that going to be? Like you said,
next year. Next year, maybe.
Last year at the end of the year, we thought he might miss a week, and he went missing multiple weeks, and then he screwed everybody over last year. He's doing it again. So, yeah, I would definitely be worried about Keenan Allen. He might be a sell low.
All right, here's Cornelius. So he said he has to bench one of these. Is that what he said?
All right, yeah, because he says who to drop. I guess he meant who to bench. So
okay,
you're not dropping because you shouldn't drop any of those.
I mean,
so the answer's still the same.
Yeah, I'm probably benching Foreman. I mean, it's very close. Like I could see any of these guys having big games, but if I have to bench one, I'm probably benching Foreman.
Right, which is tough to do. I feel like you still have to keep Lenny in there, like Mostert. Cordero is close. I'm assuming for the Duvernay Dobbs question that those are that's your receiver 2 or 3 that you have to start one, because if it's a flex, then I would just flex Foreman or the other running back. And then he has another question, ran totally different. When is OBJ coming back? And should we hold out hope for him like D-Hop?
No, D-Hop was coming back from a suspension, not a torn ACL. Yeah, I'm not holding out hope for OBJ. He's going to sign somewhere. People are going to freak out. Everybody's going to add him, and then we're going to keep hearing reports like he's not ready, and then it's going to be like week 18 and he'll finally play. Something like that.
I'm not stashing. If you notice, I do the beat the breakout, those early waiver wire picks to get ahead of the game. I have not mentioned Odell Beckham for a reason. Jameson Williams, I know some people are asking about us like 2 or 3 weeks ago. People are asking, Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
No, Jameson Williams not going to play till December. And then if he does play, you're really going to roll him out in your fantasy playoffs. So, no. Echo 3, Victor. Half PPR, pick 2. Palmer, Boyd, Gabe Davis, and Jackson. Going to assume Dion, not Deshaun. Just for trading for JT. Well,
yeah. I mean, at least you got Dion, so that helps. But I'm gonna play Palmer and Boyd. Boyd to me, like I can't really bench Boyd this week personally. And like I said before, Palmer and Davis both have a lot of upside this week, but I feel better about Palmer's floor. So I'm gonna go Palmer and Boyd.
I'm gonna agree. Palmer and Boyd. Again, hard to say Gabe, but really not a great matchup for him. So pick those two who have the most upside. Hopefully the curse of JT is escaping you. Brian, or 8 Ryan. I don't know. I have the Sun God. Do I also start DJ Moore or Boyd?
I'm going Boyd over DJ Moore if that's what you're asking. If you're asking these guys over the Sun God, I'm playing the Sun God.
I think he's saying St. Brown's the wide receiver 1, like who to put it as the 2 or the 3. Going Boyd. And then Scissors Glover. I don't know what I just said. Stephon Diggs for Jamar Chase and Ramondre. He got no RB1. Man, it's so hard to trade Diggs right now.
Yeah, and especially like if you were getting if we felt good that Chase would be back in like a couple weeks, I'd probably say go for it. Live without Diggs for a couple weeks, and then you get Chase back and you got Ramondre. But what if Chase ends up being out 4 more weeks, 5 more weeks, 6 more weeks? We don't know. If you were getting like a better wide receiver back, like on a Amon-Ra St. Brown or T. Higgins or somebody like that I felt better, or Jalen Waddle, then I might say do it, because if you need a running back that badly, at least you're not, taking a huge hit at wide receiver. But here, if Jamar Chase doesn't come back until like week 16 or week 17, it might be too late for you by then. So I think I keep Diggs.
Yeah, if you're trading away a guy like Diggs, you can't get somebody who's just not playable to replace him,
Yeah.
So, no, I think it's tempting to look at this and say you're getting the better end of the deal, but you're taking on way too much risk with Chase because you really don't know when he's coming back, and you're giving away one of the best receivers in the league. So, can't do that. And then Paul Framo, start Herbert or Fields. I think we've kind of covered this earlier.
Yeah, I'm still starting Herbert.
And I get it, leaning Fields, but the thing is, Palmer has been fine. He'll go a lot to Everett. He'll go a lot to Eckler. He has a running back who he can check down to, and he will check down to probably 10, 12 times.
Yeah.
He'll move the ball. They'll still put up points because of the matchup. Look, if it was a different matchup, I could get going Fields, but it's the Falcons. He's got to be able to put up some points.
Exactly.
And then we got Terry R. Jamal, Gabe, or Romeo?
I'm assuming it's PPR, and if it is, I'm going Gabe Davis here. Just too much of a ceiling. And again, it's not like Jamal, like I said, in the 3 games he hasn't scored, 2 of which were without Swift, by the way, 19 total points. Now, I get it. He can score 2 touchdowns on any given week or a touchdown, and he probably will because it's Packers. But Gabe has a huge ceiling. Can't bench Gabe for these guys. I'm going Gabe.
I mean, I like Jamal Williams this week, but at running back, I'm not going to put him over Gabe. I'll go Gabe. Brady or Fields?
Here I can go Fields because Brady just doesn't really have a huge ceiling anymore, so I'd rather just chase Fields.
Agree. And you look, if the Rams were anything close to the offense they were last year, and we thought this might be a back and forth game, but I don't see the Rams putting up a lot of points, which means I don't see Brady throwing 50 plus times necessarily. All right, so I go Fields as well. Hill or Likely? Is this our first Taysom Hill question?
First Taysom Hill question. I got to go Likely. Like Taysom Hill, sure, he can run for 30 yards and score a touchdown, but if he doesn't, you're getting nothing. Likely's got to catch some passes and be involved this week because they really don't have anybody else. So I'm going to go Likely.
Going Likely as well. And just like that, we are caught up on Super Chats just in time because our time is up. All right. If we didn't get to your question, you know what you can do. Jump in the Discord and ask away. It is completely free. The link is down below. And we have a lot of different channels on there where you can ask all sorts of questions. Starts it, but also waiver wire, trade, dynasty, all sorts of things. If you want to do this, but in a much smaller setting for a longer time, right before kickoff, Sunday morning, we have a Start Sit show for our patrons. So the link is also down below if you're interested in joining. Look, honestly, for the price of what some of the Super Chat questions are, you can pay for a whole month of the Patreon membership and do this. So it's kind of worth it. But anyways, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. You can check that out. One final one just under the buzzer here. Diego Lujano from Mexico. Thank you for joining us. All right, so we got DJ Moore or Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, just kind of had this one. I got Boyd over DJ Moore this week.
Moore, he's been good the last 3 weeks. But yeah, Boyd, Chris talked about it not too long ago. If you heard, feeling a big Joe Burrow game, feeling the Bengals might put up some points here. Boyd is a good receiver. He's in a good spot to get a lot of targets as he has been doing. So don't get too carried away with Moore. He's been good. But again, if not for that last second touchdown, he was on his way to kind of just a mediocre game. So Boyd has more upside. Boyd is the play here.
All right. I think we're all caught up.
Good now. All right, guys. So thanks as always for joining us. Patrons, we'll see you tomorrow morning. And everyone else, we'll see you on hopefully tomorrow night. We do our wrap up and go over injuries and everything that happened. And then, of course, Tuesday for our start sit. Oh, looking at
one more.
All right, Vic, let's do it.
No, Okay, I'm just gonna say real quick. I don't think Swift unless Swift like gets hurt again. I don't think they're gonna shut Swift down. Even last year, when they should have shut him down, they played him like the last 2 weeks in 2 meaningless games. So I don't think Swift is gonna get shut down.
Yeah, for the Lions, I mean, they're used to being 1-6, and I mean, the situation. I think if he's healthy enough to play, that's the question. Like, I don't know. No, I'm not worried about him getting shut down for the season. The Lions don't need to tank; they're just going to lose on their own. So,
exactly.
No, I don't worry about shutting down, but I do worry that maybe he just keeps being limited, just keeps not being great. All right, we are off. We'll see you guys another time. Thanks for watching.
All right, good luck, everybody.